Wicked, wicked. Jungle is massive. Wicked, wicked. Wicked, wicked. Jungle is massive. Wicked. Yo, 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 yo. We got this skill.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Claret and Booze. This is our talkHAMMERS show. We've got Andy Miles stepping in for John at the moment, who's doing a he's doing a cab job. He had a booking, so he's doing that tonight. He's got a couple. So Andy's joining us, and obviously we've got Gary as always. Hey, how you doing, Andy? You all right?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad. Do you know what? It's glad to have football proper back. I know the games on Sky have been a bit rubbish, but it's just nice to just chill out on a Sunday and have two games back to back and just enjoy it.
I've enjoyed the football today. I have.
Yeah.
Because I took like I said last season I struggled. I said this the other day. I struggled so much with the way we was playing football. I was kind of watching other teams play well. Was giving me the ump. Oh, Gary dropped out for a minute.
Yeah.
Was giving me the ump, and I stopped watching all football completely. It's like Moyes was killing my love of the game, not just West Ham, but this year.
I watched the German Super Cup yesterday. I thought that was very interesting. Yeah. That was an interesting game of football as well.
I never saw that, but honestly, I'm gonna watch it all now. I can't, the football that we watched yesterday. It wasn't as bad as it could have been, but from the point that we went 1-0 up.
Arsenal have won the league already, haven't they? They've won it already.
Oh, they have. Of course they have. Well, they've got old Declan Rice, haven't they? Old Declan Rice. I wonder what's happened to Gary. But look, so look, what we're going to do today, we're going to run through the player ratings yesterday for the game yesterday. Sorry, I've had a busy day. I'm a bit scrambled. I will settle down. We're going to run through the player ratings, and then we're going to open the phone lines up for you lovely lot to call in. All right. What's Mickey saying here anyway? I think we've got a new member as well, Paul Riley. Thank you very much, Paul, for joining. So yeah, we're gonna jump into the player ratings once we've had a little chat about the game. I'm not going to go into it in too much detail myself because I've already done it to death yesterday. So Andy, tell us your thoughts on the game yesterday. What did you think? What about the starting lineup? Was you happy with the starting lineup with having four in the middle?
Well, it was more having Areola in goal, mate. To be honest, more than anything else, I think Moyes has finally realised. I know Fabianski had a great pre-season. I remember the Tottenham game springing to mind, but I just feel more confident with Areola behind the sticks. If I'm being perfectly, I might not agree with everyone, but yeah, at Fornals, I thought he was amazing yesterday. I agree. He's hungry. He's hungry, and we'll get on to our mate Souček. It just proves. I think I made this point. I think when I come on in like January, and I think, or it might have been after a European game when Rice didn't play, and I remember coming on here and I was like, Souček's a different player without Rice, and
he was excellent. Look, you know, I'm not a fan of Souček. Yeah. I'm far from it. But he was on it. Yes, he was probably the best player. He was probably the best player there, I think. So yeah, I was. Keith Knight's joined as well. Thank you very much, Keith. Signing up.
Welcome aboard, Keith.
Good man.
And Paul.
You might not all be aware of that. We've opened up a members platform. I'm not going to talk about it every show because what it is, people that subscribe and they become members, they're just supporters of the channel. There isn't anything closed. You don't get any extra for it. I think you get some little emojis. Like I'll put a donkey in there for the ratings, but none of our content will ever be behind a paywall. So it's always going to be out there and up front. We because we're not doing that. So it's just people that are supporting us. Thank you very much. Because they're doing it literally for nothing. Thank you. So Gary, what did we get up to, Andy? You said you was quite impressed with Souček.
Souček and Fornals in the middle. Emerson, I know obviously Creswell's it seems like he's on his way out the door, but I thought he was our man of the match in the final, and I think he's just getting better and better as he's getting on. So I couldn't complain with the starting 11. I was expecting a shock, but I'm happy. Maybe the captaincy was the shocking. That was probably the only shocking of the day. I wasn't expecting the captaincy of Zuma, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, well, he's holding the captaincy back for Harry Maguire. And I've got some very, very, very good news today, and that is, well, first of all, Maguire hasn't at any point wanted to join West Ham. You know, we've literally been shaping a package to the point where it would become very difficult for him to walk away from it. I mean, there would have been an 11 million signing on bonus, but he's still, even with that, he's coming out and saying, you know, I'm not happy with the wage package, and that was apparently that the 11 million was going to be split between us and Man U, paying off, you know, I suppose the difference of his wages over the remainder of his contract. But he wanted more money. He wants more money every week. Must have a lot of outgoings, you know. If 100 grand a week ain't enough. But he still don't want it. So he was still dithering about whether or not he wanted to join. Moyes wants to hold out for it, but Aston Villa have entered the race because, unfortunately, and it is unfortunate, Tyrone Mings got a nasty injury yesterday. Unfortunate for him, but quite fortunate for us because now they've gone in, and apparently they're in the running and one of the favourites to land him. I think he would prefer to go to Unai Emery than David Moyes, from what I've been told. So there you go.
It's a shame, isn't it? Well, it's a real shame. Gutted about it. Yeah,
I'm really gutted. I'm really gutted. But he has got some Man United players in reserve, just in case you're panicking. So we know he's got McTominay. Now he's looking at Anthony Martial. So he's got a couple. You know, what is the fucking obsession with ex-Man United players? Please tell me.
I think it's all the players who used to support him probably and play in his team. It's probably the players he picked, right? Yeah. It's probably the players he picked. The Moyes loyalists, the one that didn't tell him to fuck off like Rio Ferdinand and Vidic did, right? The ones who accepted him as the new great Man United hope, i.e. probably the ones who couldn't get in the team the previous year under Alex Ferguson. You know, that's what I'm thinking. That's probably what happened. Having said that, I think Maguire wasn't he Solskjaer's signing?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, I think he signed obviously when they bought him after they won the league, didn't they?
Yeah.
Leicester won the league, and then they bought him a couple of years later. So yeah, I don't think it's been at United long, but yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. It's the British.
Or perhaps he thinks that you know, players who played at Man United have played for a proper club, and they're going to bring that kind of culture to West Ham, just like Jesse Lingard did. I do think he's probably, who said it last week? One of the callers said it last week. I do think he's probably camping out in someone's hedge out the front of their garden, in Maguire's hedge out the front of his garden. Though I think he's probably, you know, following him around, just like he did with Lingard. And honestly, it's so embarrassing when you give a player like that, who is at best, you know, a good Premier League player, right? Not brilliant by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, Man United think he's fucking embarrassing, right?
No.
It really demeans West Ham to pull our own pants down like this and give someone like that,
especially if he doesn't want to come.
What they want. Yeah.
If he doesn't want to come.
Exactly.
Sean Whetstone, if you're happy to come on the show and be the first caller when we do the when we finish with the player rate,
come on, Sean.
Some exclusive insight into what's happening with James Ward-Prowse, that'd be very much appreciated, because I'm sure he passed medical 3 days ago.
But talking of centre backs though, we saw him in the friendly when we got destroyed by Bayern Leverkusen. Jonathan Tah is available for £17 million.
Wow.
And 17 million, and we've been linked with him all summer. I'm not just saying it because he played out. I've watched quite a bit, and I've seen him play for Germany. He's tall, he's powerful, he's quick.
He's a beast.
Obviously, he's got the relationship with Kehrer as well, which could be the prime link to getting us to it. And we're still trying to spend £13 million more plus add-ons for Maguire. It's amazing, really, when you think of it.
Moyes has got this thing in his head at the moment about Premier League experience. That is his theme for the season. Got to be Premier League experience. Didn't matter before this season, but apparently Steiten's got no Premier League experience, so his opinion is fucking meaningless. Apparently, Edison Alvarez, now this is something that's really worrying, right? Moyes has yet to make a decision on how long it'll take for him to get a run out in the Premier League, because he's going to do what he did with Vlasic, right? This ain't his player. He's going to fucking bomb him out, I'm telling you. Or he's going to put him on the fucking left wing.
He is. I know. And I mean, sort of, well, I said this to you the other day with James Ward-Prowse. I said this to you last night. I really upset you. I said David Moyes has got form for putting. He's got like a spare position out on the left wing. That's where he shoehorns players in.
That's where players go to die, right?
Now James Ward-Prowse, I don't think he's ever played on the left wing before. He's always been a central player, but he's never played for David Moyes before. Now, I think he's being booked purely for his set pieces. I don't think if he's going to have other big physical beings that are available, i.e. Alvarez, i.e. Souček and McTominay, if he gets him in, there ain't going to be any room in the middle for little James Ward-Prowse, but there is a little space out on the left wing for those set pieces. I would not be surprised to see that rapid James Ward-Prowse put out on the left wing. It wouldn't.
See, Nick, I don't see that, right? I see James Ward-Prowse as his signing, who will play in his natural position. I see Edson Alvarez feeding off scraps.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much.
Maybe you remember the embarrassing part last year when when Flynn Dans, who clearly weren't his player, he played him as a fucking number 10.
Yeah. No.
This reminds me of not just West Ham. Do you remember when England had that problem when you had flipping Nick Barmby and flipping played Gerrard out on the left just because you couldn't? You had to play Scholes, Lampard, and Gerrard. You had to play them all, and this is exactly the same situation back then. It wouldn't surprise me if we play. Because Alvarez, I didn't realise. Do you know he started his career as centre back until we done that podcast interview? I can see him moving into the back three with if we don't get Maguire.
He's a very capable. He's a very capable centre back, but he would be mad if we didn't use him in central midfield because he's a fantastic player. He really, really is. But he would have been a tremendous basis for Lucas Paqueta. Keith, thank you very much. You've just joined and you bunged us a tenner.
Thank you,
My
Keith.
God, thank you very much. What was that? Sealed by Nick referring to Maguire as Easter Island head. Yeah, I know. Yeah, dumb. But yeah, talking about Paqueta, obviously news has broke that. Well, I don't know whether we're interested in this kid. Who's the boy from Man City who we're interested in? The former player, Palmer. Yeah, very good player. Very, very good player. Apparently, they're offering 60 million plus in, which I think is fair. But I don't know from what I've been told or from what I've seen, and this ain't West Ham sources. Apparently, the boy doesn't want to come. He doesn't want to come. You know, he's considering his football career as well. You know, he said if he has to come to play for David Moyes, he's been saying, I don't want to go on loop, and they've offered him a part in Corrie.
Brighton have offered 30. Brighton have offered 30 cash for him, right?
I don't think he's going to come to us, mate. I don't think he's going to come to us. I really don't.
Well, the thing is, what worries me still though is they will still want to include the buyback clause. I don't agree. I understand why they do it. I wouldn't if he did want to sign for us and anyone. I get it why they do it, but. There's got to be within reason. I'll do 2 years.
It'd be wasted for us. Look, I'm literally getting to the point now, and I know it's self-destructive with what we've done with Haller. With what I know, look, Paqueta's different. Even Moyes can't fuck Paqueta up. Defensively, he put him in defense. He was more or less in defence yesterday, and the fucker still had flair. He was on his arse taking players on. He's still fun, even when he's defending and stuff like that. So he can't ruin him. But there are players that he can ruin. And you know what? Flair players, I'm almost starting to feel responsible for him. After what he's done to Scamacca and players like that, I just don't know. I almost feel sorry for players that want to come in. I'm happy that Carlos Borges has gone to Ajax, for instance. I actually am. I just don't think the guy is... and we know what David Moyes is going to do this year. That first game of the season, that's the last time you see two creative flair players in central midfield. You won't be seeing that again all season. And he done that out of necessity. It's as simple as that.
After that game yesterday, I thought next week that enough of that. Don't get excited because I was excited by that formation yesterday. I thought that's nice. It's nice to see Fornals playing in his rightful position. And Paqueta playing. Yeah, so I thought that looks all right. It looks like a strong team. We'll probably go and win with that team, and we should have, right? But next week is going to be a whole different kettle of fish, right? Next week could be David Moyes' wet dream. I mean, imagine this. Picture this, if you would. Take yesterday's team, swap out Paqueta and Fornals, swap in Alvarez and James Ward-Prowse, and swap out Benny for Maguire as we change to a back 3/5. I mean, that is David Moyes' wet dream. That is so negative.
But do you know something, Gary? This idea, because he's tried this back 3 many times. He has. Yeah. It never fucking works ever.
No, but he'll carry on trying, Nick, because he'll have 3 players he can't drop.
But listen to this, right? He's gonna do this. I guarantee. Now because if you're going to have a back 3, unless it's just going to be, it's not going to be a back 3. It's going to be a back 5. Yeah. Soufal is not suitable in any way to be a right wing back. He was shit yesterday. Defensively, he was okay. He's the slowest fullback, the slowest right back in. Tell me a slower one, Andy, than Soufal in the league. There ain't a slower one. So you got.
Do you know what's funny though? Who Soufal reminds me of? Do you know an 11-a-side team when you just chuck the person out right back and he's the one who smokes about 30 fags and that's what he does.
But do you know who Soufal is? And this ain't dig. Look, Soufal does put some good performances in, more as a fullback, right, as a right back. But do you know what he is now? Because of his throwing, he is Tony Pulis's Rory Daylap. That's what he is. He's in that fucking team because he can throw the ball over. That's it. So we're going to have Ward-Prowse occupying the left wing because he's got set pieces, and Soufal there because he's got a long throw-in. That's it. I'm telling you, I can't. I know a lot of people love Soufal. I know that, but I don't think he is the best.
His pace worries me.
His pace is awful. He hasn't got it there, you know, and. But I suppose if you're in a back five, maybe he won't get what's that, playing under Moyes to become a footballer is like linking up with James Corden to learn the pole vault. Oh, fucking hell. Well, look, let's not go through the game blow by blow. Should we just get into the player rating so we can make some phone calls?
Yeah, I mean, look, just a quick summary of the game. I think, you know, we
Rory Daylap, yeah, that's the one. You know what I mean?
There was no need.
John's only here to correct me lately, isn't he? It's the only time he talks to me.
Listen, I mean, there was only one observation I took from that game yesterday, and I thought we had the team out there that could have won the game. Moyes absolutely bottled it, right? Yeah. We went 1-0 up, and he just pulled the plug and forced everyone back. And even after that, we very nearly nicked it. Yeah, and that's how poor Bournemouth were. Poor Bournemouth were just not a very good side. No, 2 points lost because of Moyes yesterday.
Yes, yeah, no, I agree. I know. It was not. Well, look, it was completely. It was. He threw it away. There's no arguing that. Not one person can argue the fact that we were, although we weren't great, we was on top of Bournemouth. We were the better team, the better of two bad teams, and he just ruined it. And he just waited for them to fucking do for the inevitable, as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, the one player that we was all glad to see start, because we've all been fretting about Fabianski and Areola, was Areola. Andy, what were your thoughts on Areola? Give him a little rundown on the score.
I can't just want your opinion on this as well quickly. Everyone was slagging him off for the goal. Like, what else is he meant to do? I don't know what else. Everyone was like, Fabianski would have took him an extra 2 seconds to get down on the floor. Like, I thought he'd done the best he could.
There's got to come a point. I've just watched another channel where they're just slagging off individual players. You've got to get to a point where you stop blaming individuals for making mistakes, especially defensively, when you play in a way that invites the opposition on. You've got to stop that. You at some point you've got to stop blaming individuals and start blaming the system. You know, which I always have done. But there was a couple of really poor performances there today, there yesterday. But on the whole, you know, when you've got players that are kind of, I mean, Areola, what the fuck was he supposed to do there? And it weren't Souček's fault either. People blaming Souček for the back heel. No, because it deflected off of him. What's he supposed to do there?
My God, yeah, that's a bit extreme, isn't it? That's a bit extreme. Yeah.
But go on, Andy. Anyway,
I just feel more comfortable with him in goal and commanding his box. He didn't really do much wrong, so I'm just going to be probably a 7. I think that's probably a fair result for him.
In my opinion. Oh, sorry, mate. Good stuff. All right, he's a 7. Right, Gary. I'll give you Emerson.
Emerson, I thought he was really, really positive, Emerson. Defensively, he was solid, never really looked troubled. All of the trouble was happening inside him. So the next player you're probably going to talk about. And yeah, very, very positive getting forward. Looks confident, doesn't he? Looks really confident. So I'll give him a 7.
Give him a 7. I thought he didn't do anything wrong. I think he was better in the first half when we was going forward a bit, because he's a progressive player. But
he's a good player. He's a good player.
Yeah,
I just like that understanding with Paqueta. The way they just keep the ball between them, like Emerson just knows he can bomb on forward because Paqueta's going to find him.
Right, I'm going to make some space on top of Nathan Aguirre. Right now this was look, he got better in the second half, right? But he still made mistakes in the second half. He was Dominic Solanke is not a bad player. He's not a bad striker, but Dominic Solanke was targeting him. He was on him, and he literally beasted him. He bullied him. Aguirre's judgment, you know, and it weren't just because our style of football. It wasn't just because it was backs to the wall. It was sometimes he was getting caught out with balls over the top. His reading of the game, his decision making, he was shit. yesterday. Now he isn't shit, but he was yesterday. He was poor, and I am sorry. He's for me. I know a lot of people are thinking otherwise, fives and whatever, but I'm sorry. Start as you mean to go on. That was definitely a donkey performance. He could have quite easily, if they were more clinical, if they were more clinical, he would have cost us a few goals, 100%. We were lucky that Bournemouth was shit. They were shit.
I thought it was appalling. I thought it was an appalling performance. It could and should have cost us a couple of goals yesterday. Far too easy to get, but you don't expect an international defender who's supposed to be a cultured international defender to get caught flat like that and let players in behind. Is the people I think are trying to put donkeys up like emoticons?
No. They're working on in YouTube, but it doesn't transfer into StreamYard.
So we don't see it. Oh, okay.
Yeah. But they can see it in it. They can see it in the chat.
Text.
Yeah, they can see it in the chat.
I'll put them all up. Yeah,
put them all up. Yeah. But yeah, no, I agree. I think he was poor. But Andy, Kurt Zuma.
I thought it was a proper captain's performance yesterday, mate. I thought it was a 7. I thought he didn't look out of place. He was covering a lot. And you know what? You're probably gonna laugh. He actually looked fit yesterday. He didn't look like walking around. He limping around and everything. And like you said, I think we'll probably say about Soufal going forward, but he was covering him a bit. He was covering 2 other extra people yesterday. Actually, I'm going to change that to an 8, mate. I think.
Yeah, change it to an 8. Yeah, no, it's fine. I think he was a standout player in that back line.
He was definitely.
Yeah. Very, very good, very good. And this is what bothers me because I don't think. Because Zuma and Maguire are both right-sided. They're both right-footed. Now, that means if Maguire does come in and Moyes once again realises that this back three don't fucking work again and he goes back to a back 2, he's going to put Zuma and Maguire in that back line. He won't drop either one of them. He won't. And that would be terrible because we know Zuma can't really play back on the left-hand side. Maguire's shit enough when he's playing on his strongest side, as far as I'm concerned.
But do you know what I can see happening, Nick? Do you know what I can actually see happening? Aguerd has played left back a few times for his old club and for Morocco. I can see him moving in
there though.
No, but I'm thinking of Moyes' head. I'm not thinking of our heads. Do you see what I mean? And then maybe push Emerson a bit forward. Maybe.
Good point as well from Amanda. He was captain yesterday, Zuma.
Yeah, he was really good. It was a captain's performance for me.
Yeah.
But Gary Soufal. I know what I'd be doing, but this is your score.
It's like one of those things where you hear someone talking, but they don't say very much. You know what I mean? And I think he was running up and down the line quite a bit, but wasn't actually delivering very much. It was, you cannot question the guy's work rate. He always puts in a shift, but there's more to football. I think.
No, you got to mark him on his performance.
There's more to football than putting in a shift. So I'm going to say. On yesterday's performance, I'll give him a 5. I thought
he's escaping a donkey.
No, he's not a donkey. He's definitely not one of the worst. Definitely not one of the worst.
He was okay defensively, but I tell you what, his decision making, he's so slow in thought for the Premier League. He gets caught in two minds all the time. He drives me mad.
Nick, I struggle to blame the players in the attacking end of the pitch, apart from the attacking players, because it's like picking a lock, isn't it? It's so difficult. It's so crowded the way we play to try and create anything. He's always got, he's not the most cultured player, and that ain't his fault.
Yeah, no. Oh no.
What are you doing? You putting them up now?
Well, because you were talking.
We're fucking fighting here. We're fighting. I'm clicking on them. You're clicking on them as well. Come on. Dude.
Right. Okay. So that's a 5.
Yeah.
Right. So I will take Thomas Souček.
This is very positive so far. This.
It is. I'll take Thomas Souček. Right. Thomas Souček for me. Everybody knows I'm not a fan of Thomas Souček. I think he's been shit for 18 months, but I am not stubborn. And yesterday. I'm going to say it now. He was probably he was the best player on the pitch. If I'm honest, I think he was strong in both boxes. He was strong going forward. He was strong at the back. He didn't put a single foot wrong. He was very, very good. It kind of this style of football that we play. He's one of the few players that we've got that it suits. But he was really good at it yesterday. He was fantastic. He seemed to have a lot of fire in his belly.
Yeah.
And yeah, for me, I'm probably gonna go for an 8. I think I'm gonna give him an 8 anyway. He was tremendous. In fact, that whole middle three, I was happy with yesterday.
I think as long as Souček gets to do the stuff that he's good at, and that is, heading the ball, getting in the way, blocking things, and also arriving late in the box. If you get him to do that, it'll be great. If you get him to try to get him to do what Moyes tried to get him to do last year and pass the ball, and be a bit more cultured, he'll be awful.
And of course, he nearly scored as well, didn't he?
It did.
It was
It
great
did.
finish.
But the balance that we had in there, you had Fornals and Paqueta that are on a similar wavelength. Some really good interplay between them at times. You had Paqueta, who does a lot of the dirty work, as he proved yesterday, and he was really good at it. But he's also got a little bit of. It was almost like Souček just didn't bother doing that side of it. He left it to Fornals and Paqueta, and Souček just did the destroying part. That's all he did. He just kind of he swept up, and he did it really well. But yeah, so Andy, Paqueta.
I'm going to give him an 8 as well, mate. He wasn't my man of the match, but I just love his fight, like his fight, his touches. Obviously, he was unlucky as well with the shot. If we're getting on to Benny. If Benny was just a 10% more on it, them two could have caused a lot more damage. But considering the speculation around him, he didn't look like transfer was around him yesterday. He just got on with it on the pitch. So yeah, an 8 for me.
Yeah, I think so. I agree with that. And sadly, it's probably going to be his last match for us. You know that, don't you?
I think it will be. Yeah, I think it will be.
Did you? I don't know whether it's true, but did you see? Sean Whetstone. He's got his account on Twitter. He posted that picture of the West Ham shirts with Paqueta on the back.
Only at West Ham.
90 quid down to 60 in the sale in the store, apparently.
By the way, if you buy one of those shirts, apparently there's this thing that if we sell a player, you can take the shirt back and exchange it for a current player.
Oh, right, okay.
So maybe you get yourself a cheap shirt.
I think they should just stop printing names on shirts. I think that's what they should start. You just stop it now.
Yeah,
just stop it. Right. Andy, Fornals.
I've done Paqueta.
Oh, you done Paqueta, Gary. Fornals.
Fornals, I thought was excellent. I thought he was industrious as usual. I thought he was quite cultured. I thought his interplay with Paqueta was actually really good. They're kind of on the same wavelength. He's a very offensively minded player.
I loved him yesterday.
And he's got some craft as well, but also some grit. And if it wasn't for his little interception that fed Souček, who fed Bowen for a fantastic finish, I don't know how we would have unlocked that defense. I think after we scored, they were there for the taking. Yeah. After we scored, they were there for the taking. Before we scored, you were wondering how it was going to happen, right?
Yeah.
I wish he would get a kind of permanent role as in that sort of creative midfield position, because that is where he should be. He's number 10, right?
You won't see him there anymore, Gary.
You won't. He'll be on the left wing or out of the club. Yeah.
And he's too good for the bench. He's such a good player. That was probably. Do you know something? Because all through last season, right, you had Rice in there always getting a 7 out of 10. Yeah. But tell me the last time we had a complete midfield where they all got 7s or 8s out of 10, where they all look good as a unit. It hasn't happened. It's always been Souček looking shit, Rice looking good, and maybe Paqueta having a good game. That was one of the first times we've had a really good, solid balance line. The defense was a bit of a problem, and the attack was as well, which we'll go on to talk about. But I think that midfield was good. It was really good.
I thought it was. I really thought it was. And yeah, for me, I'm stuck. We would talk man of the match. I think mine would be Souček, but I'll give him parity. I'll give him 8 Fornals.
The chat can choose the man of the match anyway. You give him an 8. That's fine. I think that's perfect though, because for me, I think as a unit they worked really, really well. Until we scored and they were forced back, which they were. On the stream that I was watching, you could visibly see Moyes waving them back, and he went even more mental after they scored. And Paqueta and Fornals got on the front foot, took the ball by the horns, went up there. Paqueta hit the post, Fornals was pushing up. You saw Moyes was screaming at him. He was blood red, and then he lost it. Took Fornals off and put fucking Kehrer on to sit in front of that back line, because he didn't. He was happy with the point. He obviously planned for a point. He had his point. That was enough for him.
Yeah, and I honestly, I just can't get into that mindset. I don't understand it. I don't support West Ham for that.
No.
But the problem is what you're doing as well is you don't know how long's going to be added on time. So technically, you could, if you do it on the 75th minute, you could be parking the bus for 25 minutes, not 15, 20.
That's
You've
right.
seen how long the games are. So yeah, it's just bloody pointless, isn't it?
Yeah. So obviously we've got Ben Rama, who I spoke about yesterday. And to be quite honest, he looked lively, and it weren't being lazy. He was in the game. You know, some of his passing, his more simple passing was okay, but you know what? He is so wasteful to the point where everything broke down through him. It did. For some reason, the ball always seems to find its way to him. This is obviously because he shows for the ball, but that was some of the stuff that he did yesterday was so poor. It was. I mean, so poor. Do you remember the cross he put in right at the end, straight into the keeper's arms?
I was going to say, that's basic.
He was honestly his final ball, his output, his effort's fine, his output is shit, and we can't have that because we don't attack as a team, you know. So we need brilliant individuals to create stuff. I don't think he is. I think he's. I said it yesterday. We've all said it before. He's a 1 in 10 merchant. You know, he does one good thing and 9 bad things. And it's, for me, I'm sorry, I'm donking him up. I know it's horrible.
But he is now, do you notice, Harry, he's now one of the Moyes favourites, and so he never gets pulled.
He's better when Moyes slagged him off. He ain't slagged him off for ages. That's why I think as well. When Moyes slagged him off the next game, he's been better.
I really love Benny, right? I love Benny for his industry, for his enthusiasm, and he is 80% of a great player. But it's just that final that is what separates a good player from a great player, right? Having that cutting edge, especially down that end of the pitch.
Did you watch Match of the Day, Gary? Did you watch Match of the Day? Newcastle's 5th goal, Harvey Barnes running through at 100 mile an hour on goal and slotting it away. He also got an assist. I love Harvey Barnes. He also got an assist as well just before that. I mean, you know, like I said, I feel bad, but I'm scoring him properly. He was poor. He's an attacking player. We need him to create and score. He was shit at that yesterday. Really poor. That's his job. He weren't very good at it yesterday, so I'm sorry. It is what it is.
You know,
and
Barnes,
he had lots of opportunities to affect the game as well, and he didn't.
Yeah, Harvey Barnes could have been Moyes' new Lingard.
Yeah, could have been. Right,
but we should have pushed the boat out to get that player.
Yeah, could have been, but weren't. Right, Andy Bowen.
8 for me. What a finish! What a finish!
Yeah,
as well.
Just for the finish, I think. I don't think he done much else, did he?
No. I don't know. It's just, I think he's unsettled big time. He's not signed his new deal. He's obviously that high of the final, which no one would ever take away from him. And I think he's probably our best player in pre-season, but he don't know what direction we're going in, and he's probably thinking, I don't know if I can put up with another year of Moyes ball. But he's the finish alone, it was an 8.
You see how Nigel here, look, he said Lingard could become Moyes' new Lingard. Wouldn't surprise me if all else fails, because he has to have someone with that Man United connection. He's got to.
He'll still want him
with Man United.
He'll still want him. And so far, I think I'm right in saying only Paqueta and Lingard, they're the only 2 players to be given a relatively free reign by David Moyes.
Yeah, no, I agree. 1 minute, just responding to a text. Okay, so you gave him an 8. Look, don't get me wrong. What a finish!
Yeah, beautiful.
What a beautiful goal! It really was. You know, it was almost a carbon copy of Saka's goal in the Arsenal game. It was the same sort of strike.
Yeah,
really good goal.
Unlike Antonio, he is actually a natural finisher.
Yeah, he is. He is. Right, Gary, Antonio, you're going to give him a 3?
You see, look, you can never ever go at Antonio for the effort he puts in. You know, on the very, very, very rare occasion he might not put effort in. Yesterday he put effort in. He ran himself into the ground. He didn't look overly fit and finely tuned, did he? He wasn't looking massively interested, if I'm being honest. You know, but again, that's sometimes what you make of Antonio, and it ain't the fact that, you know, only he knows whether he's interested or not. So I'd say I give him he really created nothing. And that, that chance early on, and that was a genuinely good chance. That one where Paqueta headed it in across the goal. Took him. I reacted faster than him.
Yeah, no,
right.
No, look, he does look heavy at the moment as well.
He does.
I think as Amanda said down here, she said I think Mickey's checked out. I think he has, but the thing is, he did still. What people seem to forget is, right, and this is what I've heard this now mentioned several times. We've got to get a new striker in. We've got to get a new striker in.
Yeah,
people, you're not looking at the problem. The problem isn't the fucking striker. We've had Haller, we've had Skamaka, we've got Danny Ings. The problem is not the striker. It's not Gary. The problem ain't the striker. It's this shit system that we're playing. It doesn't suit strikers.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Whoever comes in needs to do what Antonio said and feed off scraps. We know that, right? We know that. But it doesn't really... don't get away from the fact that Antonio is not at his best. And and when Antonio is at his best, it gives us a chance. There's always a chance it'll nick a goal. He's never going to be at his best for us anymore. So we need someone new. We need someone that can play up front on their own, because that's what they're going to do. And then that will mean Ings, who always gets on the pitch now, he goes down to second place or stays at second place. Mbama never gets on the pitch.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I'll tell you what, this idea of putting Bowen as a striker, that fucking freaks me right out, because Bowen can't do that role that he does. And we'll miss it. All Bowen's effective plays when he comes from deep and he comes out wide. It's where Antonio's better. Antonio's better if you're playing wide. You just need a fucking battering ram in there, really. Somebody that is happy, that, as Antonio said in his podcast, which was true, someone that's happy to just run and run and run for very little reward, and I hope that we send Mbama out, because I tell you what, that was an insult yesterday when we were still 1-0 up. They'd made their 5 attacking changes, their goal was coming, and then he switched Antonio for Ings. I mean, he had Cornet, who's, I know he's always offside, but at least you got someone that can play on the counter, and then that Danny Ings can't play up front on his own, and you've got Mbama as well, and you just think, fuck me. Ings is the least suitable player for this system, but he brings him on because he's the most senior. I don't get it. Yeah,
neutral football fan. I mean, look, stats, right? Antonio wants to leave. Not surprised, because he's constantly abused. Well, not on here, he isn't. We never.
No, he's not abused on here, mate. You obviously don't watch us very much.
Even though he's West Ham's greatest Premier League striker, well, he's the highest scorer, but he's not our greatest striker. You hope him.
Yeah,
watching us for very long.
Neutral football fan. You obviously haven't watched his show. I know he gets an awful lot of crap, Antonio. He doesn't from me. I've got a soft spot for Antonio. I didn't like the way he came out with the podcast when that was released before the final. I thought that was disruptive and it weren't right. I know he wants to leave and stuff like that. And look, as far as I'm concerned, I think we know why he needs to leave, Gary, doesn't he?
Of course he does.
He needs a cash injection.
He does need a cash injection.
Would you take 13 million? Apparently, what Saudis are offering. Do you reckon that's a good deal?
Oh, fucking have their hands off. Have their hands off, Andy. Yeah,
of course you would. Yeah, no, I agree.
Of course you would.
I agree.
But yeah, no, I do like Antonio, but I think his days are done. I think if we can get any money for him now, you got to take it. You got to take it. So poor old Danny Ings. You got to feel sorry for him. Is this me? This one?
This is you. Yeah, come on, fill your boots.
I'm just gonna give him a 5. It ain't his fault. I don't think he didn't touch the ball. I mean, he was up front until Cornet came on, and then he got shunted back into midfield, but just didn't see the point in that at all. Right, Andy. Cornet, I'll tell you what, rate his dive out of 10, because that's all he did.
That's worrying. That's worrying, isn't it? It's worrying. I'm going to be harsh. Fuck it. Donkey.
He was shit, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Look. He dived terribly, and he was offside.
He was on the pitch for 3 minutes. He was offside and dived to try and get a penalty in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So, I agree with you, Andy. Donkey.
But you know what makes me laugh, though? He looks round when he's offside and blames the other players for not giving the ball quick enough. Fucking stay on side.
Honestly.
What kills me with Cornet is the majority of the time when he's offside, he's looking down the line.
Yeah.
It's not that hard, is it? Do you know what I mean? It ain't like he's arcing these amazing runs or anything. The fucker just stands offside. You just look at the line.
Was it the Villa game when he was literally about 8 yards offside when he first come back? I think. Yeah. God. No. Yeah, donkey for me.
Right, Kehrer, he didn't do anything, and he weren't going to. He looked a little bit lost in midfield. He probably hasn't been coached there before or anything like that. He's not applicable. I think for me, I'm going to go in on him. I love Kehrer. I'm not marking him for a fucking filling in at midfield. Referee, I know it weren't Peter Wanks, but every referee's Peter Wanks. So, Andy, go on. Let us know. Give us a score for the referee.
I don't really think
and VAR combined.
No, actually, I'm gonna
yellow card.
Well, even Aldi, he was very card happy yesterday, wasn't he? Yeah, including the thing. So I'm gonna fuck it. He's having a donkey as well.
Yeah, he was shit, wasn't he? There was there's no common sense being applied to this, is there? What they're doing?
Well, the new rules. There was one of them, right, where they said only one player is allowed to approach the ref. More than one player approached the ref all through the game. No one got booked. It's just a ridiculous rule, right?
Yeah, no, I know.
But don't get me started on going back. Sorry, we got the Arsenal. Arteta, how did he not get booked again?
He's exempt.
He is exempt, isn't he?
Yeah,
he is. Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put while Gary's talking about Moyes, because I'm and that donkey ain't coming off, Gary. So if you do give him more than a 4, I'm taking it away from you.
Honestly, look, I'm almost as wound up with Moyes as you. I mean, this was just needless. It was just pointless, careless. Yeah. He's a bottler. He's a bottler, Moyes. He has no bottle. He has no intent. What he's trying to do is put together a team who could go 1-0 up at Bournemouth and sit back and be able to soak up the attacks of the mighty Bournemouth, right?
Yeah.
Because as we know, they're a top fucking Premier League side who you should be afraid of. You should be afraid of when you go 1-0 up at Bournemouth. Get your fucking hell. We've never done this before. We're 1-0 up at Bournemouth. Let's shut the door. So he completely threw that away yesterday, and that is the reason I can't stand the bloke. Not him personally, but I cannot stand his tactics, and I cannot stand his attitude. He's a fucking negative. He's like a black cloud, a dark cloud over everything we do. He gave that game away yesterday. It's on him. 0.
Yeah, love it.
But Gary, you know what's happening. You know what's going to happen. It's going to be James Ward-Prowse into a centre back against Chelsea, and we're going to win 1-0 next Sunday, and everyone's going to say Moyes is a fucking genius. You know what's going to happen next Sunday.
Listen, I hope so, Andy. I hope so. I keep saying it, right? This is not personal for me. This is not personal for me. I just want to see good football, good attacking football, right? Doesn't even have to be good football. Just has to be attacking football to show some intent, because that's what I'm used to with West Ham, right? I'm not used to sitting back and fucking defending, and I fear that's where we're going. But if we ain't going there, and we're going to end up attacking, and it's going to be entertaining, like that period with Lingard, where we've got a meaningful counter-attack with some pace. I'll get all behind it. I'll get behind it, right? I'm not going to I'm not going to be petty and slag him off for the sake of slagging him off. That would be churlish, right? I want West Ham to win and win well.
But when was the last time we lost like 4-3 or 3-2 with a really entertaining game? I actually can't remember. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like when you're really going for it.
Yeah, those days are long gone.
But look, I know. But listen. I know we can't say it.
Geezer.
Just once more.
I think he's a cat.
So you're voluntarily demonetising us now, aren't you?
No, but we all need a bit of Nolly in our lives, don't we?
Yeah.
Right. I think it was. He was though, wasn't he? He was.
Yeah.
He was. It was ridiculous. The fact he just sat there and he waited and he waited and he waited, and it was inevitable. It was going to happen.
I hated what I was seeing. I hated what I was seeing. You know what? Right. We've got a caravan, right? So I went down to a caravan yesterday. It took me.
On the match.
I missed the first half.
Man of the match.
I missed the first half, so I can only watch the second half. And you know how much decent football I saw in the first half? In the second half, 6 minutes. 6 minutes. The rest of it, we were sitting back. We were sitting back the whole half, right?
When was the last time Souček had a man of the match?
It must be a long time.
I think it might have been when. Oh no! Yeah, God knows.
Yeah.
Terry, you're correct. I mean, that was obvious from watching it on telly, right? Once it went 1-1, it's just like, well, we got to settle for the point. Respect the point.
Yeah. No, I agree. It was but he did. It's like he was. The frustrating thing was that the Bournemouth, guy. he was, even when they got their goal back, he weren't happy with it. He went all like, "Oh, we've got our goal back." He carried on pushing forward.
Yeah,
they carried on going. You know, it was I just
and
so refreshing. And all the football. Listen, all the football I've watched this weekend. And if you watch it on Match of the Day last night, all the football that I've been watching, you know, you had Brentford and Spurs, two teams going at each other the whole time, trying to score, trying to craft opportunities, trying to get the win. The same, you had Chelsea and Liverpool as well. You know, the Newcastle Aston Villa weren't as one-sided as a score would suggest. That was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You know, the football in the majority of the Premier League, and it's teams like, and it's honestly, it's teams like that and matches like that that make this league great. It ain't what David Moyes fucking does. I think you've got 90% of the teams in the Premier League. They play progressive football. They try and go for the win, and then you got 10% of turgid shit. And we're sitting right in that 10%. I don't think that we deserve any televised games, because if you was a neutral, why would you watch West Ham? Unless it's against Chelsea on the weekend because you want to see Chelsea batter us. I don't know.
Yeah. Can I just say, I spoke to, messaged quite a few people who went to the game yesterday. They had a lovely day out, lovely day in the sun, singing for 90 minutes. They came out of there on a bit of a cloud thinking we'd done all right. But when you're involved in that and you've got the emotion around you and you're part of that emotion, it's a completely different experience to sitting at home watching it on a telly, right? And when you're at home watching it on telly, it's a cold, clinical environment that you're actually watching it for what's happening on the pitch. It's like watching that Conference League final back. You know, it was the greatest night ever, but you watch the game back and you realise we're a bit rubbish, right?
Yeah.
It's one of those things. So, it is what it is. It's two different perspectives. And so some people who went to the game will say it was a great day out, brilliant. You know, we played really well. But most people who watched it on telly will say, what the fuck was he doing?
Yeah, I think it's like when you go and watch like the home games of it. I try and go to as many away games as I can. But obviously you see what happens off the pitch. You see like, for example, leaders like Zuma. People at the game yesterday probably would have seen Zuma being more control, because obviously they're at other ends of the pitches, so you definitely see it from a different angle. But I just can't. I don't want to be like negative, but you just can't defend David Moyes no more. Like you can't, and it's just horrible.
Yeah, I'm gonna attempt to phone Sean Whetstone.
Go on then,
just to piss everyone off. All right, hang on. There we go.
That is the problem, Mark. Sober. I was sober. This football doesn't really go well sober.
Yeah.
Let's see if he's available.
We did do all right. Too many expect too much. Yeah, it's fucking terrible trying to expect us to win a game we should win, right?
I know. Sean.
Hello.
Hello there. Sean. How are you? You all right?
Yeah.
Living
the dream.
Nigel in the chat just said, if you answer, I'm off.
Hey, Nigel.
Who's Nigel? Never heard of him. Apparently used to write for 6'2", but if you see him or hear from him, let me know. Yeah. Shots fired.
Right. Okay, Sean. I suppose the first one that we're gonna talk about, James Ward-Prowse. What's happening with him? Is it done? He did his medical 3 days ago now, we think. So Mickey's just giving you a donkey in the chat, Sean. It's not very nice. Not very nice.
I don't know what that is.
They're getting carried away. I've given them donkey emojis for the chat. So but yeah, so James Ward-Prowse anyway.
Done tonight. Yeah, all done.
It's done.
Excellent.
Really?
It's done. Yeah.
Okay.
Going to be announced at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Okay, so that's one down. So we've got one more to go.
Yeah.
The other
two more signings.
Two more signings. Can you reveal who they could be?
Well, the other one is a bit obvious.
Yeah, but it ain't going to happen though. It's not going to happen. I know you're saying.
It is. I'm afraid.
No, I know you keep on saying that Maguire's going to happen, but from what I've seen,
it is going to happen. Look, I made a few calls tonight through other sources, not senior sources, but other sources.
Him off. Right, hang on.
And everybody tells me it's going to happen. You know, we're trying to sort out this he's trying to sort out the compensation.
Listen. We want it to happen. It doesn't mean it will happen. Aston Villa are in for him now.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But everybody thinks it will happen. Look, he's not going to Villa, and I repeated this before.
Why?
It's
Why?
not happening.
Why?
It's
Why?
not. He's,
Come on, Sean.
Villa's
Help us out. Give us a bone.
His family's up north.
It's a great story.
They don't want to move all the way down to London.
Story. It's a great story, but no bid has come in from Villa.
That's not what I've seen.
They've got their own. Well, it's not true. It's not true.
How do you know? You only know what Sullivan said. You don't know what bids have come in from Maguire apart from West Ham.
Some really good contact. Well, believe it or not, I've got some really good contacts at Manchester United.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I have, and no bids come in. Look, I'm not saying that they won't put a bid in, but I just don't think it's going to happen. And it's not on personal terms. It is this, difference in wages and everything. I've just got this gut feel. Everybody I speak to, agents, other people in Man United, they all think it's going to happen. I'm afraid it's going to go on. Whether it will be done by Chelsea, my son was just asking that. I don't know, but I think my gut feeling is this one will go for the.
Don't you fancy going to like a Saudi? How comes the Saudis ain't been in for him? I mean, surely they want.
I'll tell you who's going to Saudi. I'll tell you the other story that's not rubbish. Martial. I mean,
so we're not getting Martial.
No, right. No. If anything, he'd go to Saudi. That's maybe where he'll end up. I mean, his wages are 250 or something ridiculous, but right. He'll probably end up in Saudi. I don't see him happening.
All right. Well, I'm really pissed off at that. So thanks very much for cheering me up,
Sean. I've got a question for you, Sean. I've got a question for you.
Go on,
Gary. Right, Alvarez. Who do you reckon approved? Who do you reckon approved that signing? Did Moyes approve that signing?
Well, somehow I reckon he has. Yeah, I mean,
do you think he's going to play him with Souček, James Ward-Prowse? Do you think he's going to play him?
It will be interesting, Gary. It will be very interesting to see what happens.
Sean, we've heard some very familiar mutterings out of David Moyes this weekend saying, well, we don't know when he's going to be ready for the Premier League.
I've heard some mutterings about Alvarez in the first place and what kind of quality he is. But I hope, as always, that they prove me wrong. Unfortunately, they often don't.
Brilliant. Okay. Fantastic. The other one. So you mentioned there's two. Sorry to interrupt. So you mentioned there's two. So look, we know James Ward-Prowse is coming in. That's a done deal. Fine. I think we all expect that. But Maguire, I'm not gonna agree with you on that one. I think
we'll talk again when it gets over the line.
I'm gonna stick to my. I'm pinning my hopes to my heart rather than my head on that one. Someone else will come in because he's a magnificent player. There's got to be teams queuing around the block to give him 100 grand a week. Who's the other one?
120, I think.
120. Oh, lovely. And is it true that if he comes in, he'll be made captain?
Look, I think that goes out without saying. I've got no inside information on that, but it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I was a bit surprised that Zuma was made captain yesterday, to be honest.
Yeah.
I thought they might make Souček, but
I thought Zuma put in a brilliant performance, to be honest.
Yeah, so did Souček.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with Mickey. Mickey says, "I'm so pleased that you phoned up, Sean. You've made me feel loads better."
He's on his new 4-year contract.
Who's the other one? Tell us who the other one is. Come on, who's the other one?
A forward.
No, it ain't.
It is.
What, an actual striker? An actual striker
or a winger or what we talking about?
Well, all I've been told is a forward. I can't
forward's a big
tell you more than that. Yeah, I know, forward. That's what I was told, right? I don't know a name.
Yeah.
I don't know who's. I've been told who it's not, right? So
who's it not?
Who isn't it, Sean?
Well, it's not Brozier.
Right.
It's not that guy who got accused of certain things from Montpellier. I was told it's not him.
It's not bad.
The one who I'd love is Jonathan David, but I can't see that happening.
Is it Jonathan David?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've just told him. I don't know.
I know, but I never know whether to believe you or not, Sean. I keep trying to come.
Well, I don't know. I would tell you, but I don't know. I think they've got. I think there's a little bit of a scattergun approach. Look, you know, and you heard this up to the last minute.
Yeah.
James Ward-Prowse was about to sign, and they went, "Oh, let's go for Scott McTominay."
Is that true? Did that happen?
Well, that really did happen.
Oh,
Or the
hell.
Scottish
God.
midfielder for Man United.
I'm not being funny, right? How bad is that? Because he was available for 40 million. We played hardball on 30 million. We said, no, we're not paying you no more. We put James Ward-Prowse in a position where he's had to basically force that move through. Almost, you know, but basically went to the club and said, look, I want this move, and demanded it. And then we've almost got him. And then we start different and go, no, hang on a minute, I'm not too sure now.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
there was a little bit of a pattern with the person who does this, isn't there?
Yeah.
And they told me, right?
Sean, which person? Sullivan or Moyes? Just cough once for Sullivan. Cough once for Sullivan, say for Moyes. Hey, so that's Moyes. Is this like? Can I just say? Is this a replica of the Milenkovic Zuma debacle where they kept on going back and forth and he kept on changing his mind on which one he wanted? Is it the same one?
Yeah, and it,
what a dick
it was
he is.
very similar. But do you know what? Tommy didn't even want to come to West Ham.
No, but he don't care. Moyes doesn't care though. Moyes doesn't care about rejection.
Yeah, but how did we get in the Conor Gallagher thing? I mean, I don't know if you've seen, but the reports have resurfaced again, and my senior source, whoever he may be, says not true. But because he doesn't want to come to us, and you're thinking, how did we get to the point where we made a bid?
Yeah.
To be rejected, not knowing the player didn't want to come to us, you know? And this is where the intermediaries and the agents come in, and they tell you whatever you want to hear. Yeah, of course, this player will come to you if you put the bid in. And of course, a lot of it is not true. You know, you want to play the game by not tapping people up and approaching the player directly. So you have to go through agents and intermediaries. And the player doesn't want to come. But again, a good source from Man United said McTominay didn't want to come to us anyway. So there you go.
Lucas Paqueta, is it happening?
Yes. Well, the first bid came in, and Moyes has confirmed that. The second bid is not true. The French paper said a bid came in of 100 million euros, or whatever. I think it's 87 million. We'd have snapped their arm off at that price. So no second bid came in. No second bid has come in.
Right.
And as it stands, he's staying. Man City, right? Man City will have to pay a serious amount of money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but if they
pay a serious amount of money,
I'll make Sullivan right on that, Sean. I'll make Sullivan right on that one because he's an important player for us. Yeah. We can't just go letting him go, for nothing. He's going to be a tremendous player. We've seen it. We almost played him out of position yesterday in a defensive, defensive role.
Yeah, it was good. It was good that he actually played, because there was a concern when you get your head turned by someone like City, we could end up in a sort of Aaron Cresswell's situation. But well done him. He's professional. He travelled with the team. He played. And he put a shift in.
Yeah,
he really did.
Well done. A lot of other players wouldn't treat the same way. Whether he'd be still here on the 1st of September, we shall see. But you know what? It's down to City how much they want him and whether they pay excess. I reckon of at least 80 million. To get their player, which would be a bloody good deal for us.
Do you see them doing that, or do you think, because I've read that they may be looking at other sources, or do you think they will? You think they will pay it?
I don't think. I'm not convinced they will pay it. No, I'm not convinced because it's a bit of a poker game. Of course, as we all do, and a bit like James Ward-Prowse, and a bit like Maguire, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to make everyone believe, and that's why you see so many stories come out.
Yeah.
Maybe even this Aston Villa story. It's all a bit of a game, but I do believe they want him, right?
Yeah.
Agents have been at work here, right? But whether they will actually pay the 80 million, we shall see.
Right. Okay. Well, that's
Sean. Any news on Cresswell?
That's good news. Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
What's that?
Any news on Cresswell?
Well. It's an interesting one. I was told that Wolves pulled out before. And fair enough. And that left Cresswell not training. As you know, he's training on his own at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
whether Gary O'Neill has come in and Gary O'Neill has tried to do a U-turn.
Yeah.
But whether they can come up with the Reddies
With a skin
is another thing. They well, their skin. Yeah. They won't allow Antonio to go there. I can tell you that, because they're never going to get any money from Wolves and Antonio. I mean, if they could come up with 4 million, maybe. I heard they offered 2.5 million, but all on add-ons. You know, there was no transfer fee before. Right. And it was all add-ons. You know, if he plays this many games, you'll get this. So it was basically a free transfer.
Oh my God.
I know he's been a servant to the club, right? But you can't have your pants pulled down just because a club haven't got money. Otherwise, it'll be mayhem. So they're trying to be, I think, as respectful as they can. I doubt they're going to fine him, but they do want a solution. Interestingly, I'm not aware they're looking. I know there's all talk about looking at left back.
Maatsen. Apparently, we're looking at
information
from Chelsea.
Not what I hear. Not what I hear.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
Is it Lingard? Is Lingard coming home, Sean?
No, I can confirm 100% Lingard is not coming.
That's good. Are we looking at anyone? Are we looking at anyone that's quick? We're looking at any. Is that because obviously we're looking at parking the bus, playing long ball. Yeah. Are we looking at any pace? And obviously, is there? What I'm saying is, I know you're saying that there's a forward. Have you had sort of discussions about what type of player? Oh, right. Okay. Right. Because pace we need. Pace we desperately need.
Well, if you're Moyes, I'm not sure that pace is a kind of. I mean, I suppose you could say Antonio's got pace. And if you're looking for a player like Antonio, I suppose you could say you're looking for an Antonio clone a little bit younger, which is why Brozier gets mentioned so often. But I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Have you heard? Sorry, Sean, to interrupt. Have you heard the name? Because everyone's mentioning this. In the chat, a chap called Mohamed Kudus from Ajax.
Yes,
from Ajax.
Yeah,
you've heard the name mentioned.
Yes, yeah.
So could that be the forward that we're talking about?
Well, I've got no more than he's one of 20 or 30 that is a bit of interest. No more than that.
Oh, right, okay. But he's on the list. He's on the list.
He's on the list. Look, I don't know whether they get. I mean, you heard what he said about Bowen turned him into a striker, and I'm sure we all groaned and rolled our eyes. Whether it will be a loan, I don't know. I mean, there just doesn't seem to be. When something's going on, right? It's in West Ham world. It's not a secret. We don't know who the striker will be at the moment, which is not a good sign, if I'm honest with you.
No.
It means nothing's close. If I'm honest with you, it means nothing is even remotely close, because none of them can keep secrets.
No, it's their agents and everyone. They leak stories as well, don't they?
Yeah. Agents, everybody. Yeah, of course. So nothing is close.
It's going to be the last week, isn't it? It's going to be the last week again.
Yeah. It could be a transfer day special.
Yeah.
Just sleep.
Yeah, don't go to sleep.
In memory of David Gold. Don't go to bed.
In memory of David.
Can I ask one more thing, Sean? One more thing.
Go on, Kush Cam.
And that is taking off your Sullivan. I know you're not going to know this question. Tell me what you think, but knowing because you're obviously Sullivan, and Brady and
do I?
Better than most. Yes, we know you do. So in terms of David Moyes, if he gets his wish and he gets his players, he gets Maguire, we back him with 60 million to 90 million on players that he wants. So he's players, and they come in. This is definitely his team, but we struggle. Yeah. Say for instance that the worst case scenario, we lose to Chelsea. We have a nightmare against Luton.
You don't want to ask me this. No, I'm going to. You're not going to like the answer.
No. What I'm saying is just let me ask you it. We lose against Chelsea, Liverpool, and Man City, as you would expect. But in between that, we lose against Luton, and then we lose against Brighton, and then we are bottom 3 with the European games coming up. We're not looking any better. We're still looking shit. There's crowd discontent. Burnley 2.0 is looking like fucking kicking off again. Do you think that they will stick with him regardless because they're backing him with money? What do you think they'll do?
I think they'll stick with him.
Oh,
I think that there will be 2 things. There's a 6-loss rule, which you know about, Nick.
Yeah.
And we got very close to that. No manager can survive 6 losses in a row. league losses, that is. But I think they'll wait to December. And funny enough, I've had a few bets with some people,
Right. On Moyes leaving, yeah?
You know them. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not sackers, right? But if we're in trouble come Christmas, that's when they'll do it. In the same way they relieved, who was it? Who'd they?
Pellegrini.
Oh, Pellegrini, look at the Pellegrini. That's the time, that they're creatures of habit. Sorry, not comfort. Creatures of habit.
What if
it comes? But
what I'm saying is,
it will come after Christmas.
But say you're talking sort of September. Say you're talking September, October, and there's serious fucking discontent. It's really booting off at home. There's protests again. If it goes that far.
Rinse, repeat of last season. Weren't we there last season?
No, we didn't quite get there,
Gary.
did we? We didn't quite get there.
Didn't we?
No.
Of discontent and losing five games in a row.
I'm talking about inside the stadium. Very vocal, more than one banner.
Oh well, I don't see that happening. Look, this might sound really, really crap, but there are a lot worse teams than us, right? I think Luton will struggle. I think Bournemouth will struggle.
This is their thinking.
They've done the maths already. They've done the maths already.
Sheffield United, not spending money, will struggle. Wolves will struggle. Everton will struggle. There's 5 teams there.
We will struggle, Sean.
Right, so
we will struggle.
We will. So all we've got to be is the 6th shittest team or the 5th shittest team in the Premier League. But it's
that is literally.
It
I mean,
easy.
Sean. Even if this season, just answer me this because I know the answer already, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, that was Nick. This is Gary. Now, if we have an absolutely appalling season in terms of quality of football, completely no entertainment, just dross, just utter dross, defensive. You make you want to slit your wrists and slip pins in your eyes, but we're safe. We're not going to get relegated, right? He stays till the summer, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah. And I think, by the way,
so we could be
Iden's job.
Yeah.
Is to find a replacement. He did.
Thank God for that.
I don't think he stays beyond the summer. I really don't.
No.
I really don't. I don't think he gets a renewal.
So this is basically another Allardyce season, right? This is as long as we stay up, he stays. Yeah.
Don't say that. No, he's all right. He's gone. Nigel's gone. So don't say that to Nigel.
And you know what happened? You know what happened there. We were like doing really well first half of that season, and then he weren't allowed to sign anyone in the January, and everyone took their foot off the gas, and the season went down the toilet.
We've got 280 days till the last game of the season.
Yeah, I think we should do a Moyes countdown clock, Nick. We need to do it.
Gonna have to.
Yeah.
Gonna have to, I think. But anyway, Sean, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the call, mate. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna go and slip my wrist now.
Sorry about that. Well, you did. I mean, you asked the question, you get your answers, Nick. Sorry,
What's the matter with you, Sean? You got flu?
No worries.
Oh no, but thank you very much for the call, mate. It was good of you to update us. Let us know that my worst fears have just been confirmed. So, actually not. Look, it weren't all bad. Listen, Paqueta, that was quite good. The Paqueta message. I hope there's something in that, but we shall see.
Yeah.
But anyway, Sean,
we shall see.
Thank you very much, Sean. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, Sean.
Bye, Sean.
See you, chaps. Enjoy.
Cheers,
bye.
Bye.
Oh,
He didn't sound well, did he?
No, I don't feel well now. Fucking hell. Right. Let me phone out Alfie back, young Alfie. 1 minute. And then
you need that. It's like the awkward hold music when you're on hold for ages, isn't it? It puts you in that kind of mood.
Yeah, I hate to say I told you so, but I did tell you so a couple of weeks ago. This is what's going to happen this season. It don't matter where we finish, as long as
I know. Hello, is that Alfie?
Yeah, isn't it, mate? Yeah.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Well, relatively well until that phone call.
Oh, mate, I know.
Disappointing all round. Except Lucas Paquetá probably will stay.
That's taking the edge off, isn't it? That's taking the edge off.
That would take the edge off for me, yeah.
Yeah, it is. But I read something from David Ornstein that De Bruyne is going to get sent for a scan tomorrow about his injury. And if that comes back that he could be out for a couple of months, you don't know how big Man City will get desperate for him. So
Sorry, there was another positive on that call as well, right? I hope you all picked it up, and that is Stuyton will choose the next manager.
Yeah, that is good. That is good.
Right.
But also that thing with the thing with Man City, what they have also shown, Alfie, Man City, is that they won't have their pants pulled down if they won't pay over what they value a player. They'll just walk away. They've done it before. They've done it several times now. You know, they apparently did it with Rice. They've done it with Kane before. So if they value a player at a certain amount, they don't go over. They've got scouts. You know, there's loads. They can buy who they want. So Andy looks like he's had the life sucked out of him. I know. Sorry, Andy.
Can you message me to see if I'm all right in the morning, Nick? Can you really?
I know.
I'm
Sean was talking and he was getting lower and lower in his seat. It was just
there we go. I'm back. There we
go. But Alfie, go on then, mate. Continue.
You don't know where to go really, because obviously season started 1-1 draw. As you guys said, get to the 1-0. You've got David Moyes and go get the toast and throw it in the bath. You know, that was us done the second at the goal. I think I ain't a fan of Souček either, but I'll give it to him. He had a good game.
He had a very good game. Yeah.
Obviously, you look at it and you think, as you said earlier, it was a good unit in the midfield. I think Aguerd didn't suit it as much. And then you look at it and you go, we've got Alvarez and James Ward-Prowse coming in. And obviously, I know that they're good players, but you did kind of think that midfield yesterday did work. So we're probably going to unsettle that again, and that's not going to look too well. It's going to take a while for them to adapt. So that's another thing we've got to wait about.
Yeah.
I think Ben Rama, something's got to get done there. And that's exactly why I said it. Carlos Borges, he's got no experience, but in the Premier League division he played in, he had something like 30 goals or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's because he was fast and direct, straight to the goal, cross it in or shoot at the goal. And that's just what we need on that left-hand side. And hopefully that forward we are looking at is going to be a less-sided player. But that's another thing that we need to look out for. And then obviously, hopefully Paquetá stays.
Well, did you watch Match of the Day yesterday, Alfie? Did you see Harvey Barnes? You know, he was electric, wasn't he?
Yeah, I watched Match of the Day. Another one as well is I just want obviously you want your wingers to be explosive, like, you know, where they can just be dribbling really slow and then bang, they're gone.
Yeah.
We just haven't got that.
Slow down on the comments,
million.
Gary. You're whizzing through them too quick.
Sorry, go on.
I'm trying to read them.
35 million, you know, could we really not go to that? I think we could. I just think it's us, you know, going, no, hang on a minute. We're negotiating for Rice. We ain't doing anything until he's done. Yeah. And we've missed out on a really good player there.
Yeah.
We have.
Yeah, we have.
There is a rumour. I don't know who said this earlier. I think it might have been Gio on Hammers Chat said that that Palmer, he's a left-footed winger who could play on the right, and I think it was him. Sorry if it wasn't, but that he could replace Bowen on the right, and Bowen could be turned into a striker.
Oh,
which sounds like a likely Moyes ploy.
Yeah, but I don't think that works, because as good as Bowen is, listen, I will concede that Bowen is the best finisher at the club. He's the most natural finisher. He is. Well, having said that, no, I wouldn't say that. I think Danny Ings is. But I don't think there's too much difference between Bowen and Ings. Yes, he's got a bit more pace, but we need a player that's got a bit of stature because of the way that we play football. They need to be able to hold the ball up. Don't you reckon, Andy?
Yeah, I want that. Talking of wingers, I want that youngster from Leeds. I know everyone's. I saw a few people in the chat earlier saying he's refusing to play, blah blah blah. But I think it would be a good addition. I think he destroyed us when he played against us. He's hungry, wants the ball, and maybe that would give Benny a kick up the backside, upside as well. Do you know what I mean? Like having two players fighting for that position. But pace is a big key, and I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the expert in the Championship. We missed out on that Alex Scott, which was just appalling in my opinion. Bournemouth have got a good player there. There's got to be someone in the Championship.
Glad he weren't playing.
Yeah, do you know? There's got to be someone in the Championship, even if Moyes loves this thing. wants that English kind of player, or who knows. Championship's probably more hard than the Premier League to get out of. So there's got to be someone there lingering as well who we could get, I think.
Yeah.
That's not a bad little thing. GA reporting City will bid 50 plus Palmer. Going on what Sean just said, that we're looking for 80 and 80 ain't been bid yet. That is because Brighton want to pay 30 for him, so his market value must be 30. So that's probably a fair deal if he's the player that Moyes
I don't think he's going to come to us. Who Palmer?
Yeah,
he ain't going to come to the player. Ain't going to come to us if Brighton are in for him. Let's face it. But I'm not just saying this because I'm being petulant, Alfie. Would you agree with this? Right? If you're a defender or a defensive-minded player, there's no reason why you would turn your nose up at David Moyes because of the style of manager and the style of football that we play. That's why I don't necessarily think he struggles to get those types of players. But with what we've seen happen, with what we've seen happen with forwards, which they will all look at, they'll all do their own due diligence, you would think, unless you're just getting a mercenary that's just signing for money. Yeah. This is, if you've got options, if you're a forward player that's got options, a David Moyes team, a team that have the ball 30 to 40% of the time in the game, forwards are up there on their own, they're isolated. You're not given a platform to really succeed and show your skills. If you've got other options, do you think that you choose West Ham, Alfie? What do you reckon?
That is a good question. That's a good question. Which if you was to answer that question, which player would most likely come to your mind if you're going to put that question to them?
Patson Daka from Leicester. I'd be all over that. I really would. I think he would be the perfect person. His pace is to burn. Yeah. Whenever I saw him, he was good in a poor Leicester side. He can finish as well, so he's probably the ideal Antonio mould kind of person. And potentially you could play. Well. Potentially you could play him with in a 2 as well if we ever needed to go for it, which we won't.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, if we are going full Moyes ball, right, and I'll push back on this deal, I did. It's too late now because apparently he's gone. He's gone to Fulham. He was available on a free. But the obvious one, it was
Traore.
That was Traore.
Traore.
Yeah. That was Traore. That was the obvious one. You literally, he is the similar type of player to Antonio. He's quicker. He's probably stronger. He's younger. He can't finish either, same as Antonio, but he will get goals. He's playing in that position. I think he would have been the obvious choice for David Moyes. I don't really understand how we've not gone in for him.
I'll tell you what, though, I did watch him last season, obviously, when I watched Wolves, and I did think last season he really did improve with his final third. Like, obviously, he didn't get a lot of goals, but the balls he was putting into the box, and obviously no one could catch him with his pace. No. I really do think it would be a smart, astute signing, but yet again, we're not smart. And it's embarrassing. It is embarrassing. We're putting our own pants down.
Yeah. No, we are. But it is. So it's looking like Moyes is going all out. I will take this with a pinch of salt, and I'm not just saying that. This thing with Harry Maguire, I do know that the club, as in David Moyes and everyone else is backing him. He wants this player more than anything. David Moyes has gone more out for Harry Maguire than he ever has for any other player. He's desperate for him.
He probably took a detour to Manchester after the game yesterday.
He's absolutely desperate. But Maguire has not been convinced. He has not. However, he's got a problem because he's at Man United. The other clubs are not queuing up around the block for him, and we're one of the only teams that have kind of with Premier League status that have come in for him. I'm just hoping that somebody else does come in because I think if Villa go in for him, even though I don't think Maguire will suit their style of play, if Villa go in for him, I think he'll go. I don't think he'll stay with us. I don't think he will. I'll be so fucking upset when he comes. Yeah, I know that's horrible. We shouldn't be like that, but I'm sorry. We've heard this guy doesn't want to join us either.
No, I know. But look, let's not take it on the player. If he joins, let's just accept him as a new player and support him. He's a player. Anyone that pulls on the West Ham shirt, it kind of means they want to be here. Otherwise, they wouldn't have signed their contract. They might have, what's probably happening at the moment, what's likely happening at the moment is he's playing hardball to get as much money out of the club and Man United as he can. And I don't blame him for that, right? It's his last move of his career, right? Last lucrative one, anyway.
But I'm sorry, I'm just thinking of other wingers as well. Like you're thinking of Wolves who ain't got no money. I even like Neto and people like that, the young Portuguese player. Why aren't we not even going in for someone like that? He may fancy the move. He's left-footed as well, and someone like that. Why are we not in for players like that?
Well, especially if they want Cresswell and they want Antonio, then why can't we do a swap deal or something rather than cash?
Yeah, no, exactly.
You know what? I just want to add on to something Gary said, and it's about Maguire just trying to get every single penny out of the club, right?
Yeah.
We've got Team Strider now. We should be going out there, right, and scouting a young player, right? You should go, Moyes, right, what do you want? You want a tall centre-back who's going to be dominant in the air and he's going to kind of be very defensive-minded and, yeah, just going to defend. So you go out there, you find a young centre-back who, you know, is going to look at it. It's an opportunity to come to the Premier League. You get a decent wage and you get a chance of developing a decent team.
Yeah.
But, you know, we just won't do that approach for some reason. And when I saw Alvarez sign, you know, it was a player coming in from a foreign league. You know, he seemed pretty adamant and pretty happy to join the club, which is a good more thing. And then you can obviously compare that to Scott McTominay. He would have wanted a huge wage and he didn't want to come.
Yeah.
We should be going out and getting someone like Tar or someone like this, Tapsoba. I'm not sure, but I think Harry Maguire's the wrong move. When you look at a player signing, you have to say, is it a bad signing or is it a bad player? And for me, Harry Maguire's both.
Yeah, no, I agree. Look, and listen, I hope he proves us wrong. I hope he does. The thing that bothers me, the thing that really bothers me for this is because I'm dead certain that this is going to be a back three. It's going to be the dawn of the back three, and I don't think it's going to work. I really don't think it's going to work. So I think he's put in this. This is the master plan. I think he'll persist with it as well. But I don't think it's going to work. I think we're going to be so regressed. I mean, look, Bournemouth carved us open yesterday. Bournemouth, they haven't really got much about them. When we're coming up against these other teams, you can't really shut up shop like you used to. You know, you can't. There's so much craft. There's so much speed. There's so much ingenuity now in the opposition. You can't just fucking close up shop. You can't do it anymore. It doesn't work. You know.
Well, if you can't do it against Bournemouth.
No,
you know, you're not going to do it against a good side.
I think the one at Luton, if we don't get the result at Luton, then that's just, you know, it's just.
Oh, we must though. Did you see it?
We must. Shit. That was bad.
But you can't say that, Carrie, can you? You really can't.
No, you can't. It's their first home game. It's their first home game in that little tiny horrible stadium, right? So yeah, it could be a culture shock for us.
Yeah, it could be. It could be,
but they ain't good.
So what are you? What are you expecting, Alfie, from Chelsea at the weekend? Did you watch them? Did you watch them today? They look decent.
Oh yeah, I mean, literally, as we're on the phone right now, they've just gone out and spent 150 million on that young Caicedo. It's just been a done deal.
Has he gone there now? Oh my fucking god!
Yeah. So
that does mean Gallagher's. That does mean Gallagher's available. You know, if they've got Caicedo.
Yeah, apparently he was crap today.
Do you know what? I thought, you know, he wasn't the best today, but you know, he won the ball back the most.
Yeah.
Did he?
He did look good. He did look good. Obviously, I know Chelsea are going to try and get a massive fee out of us for it. But at the end of the day, they are going to need a little bit of incoming again, because 115 million out straight like that on one player, that's not going to work too well. And they've already got FFP watching them now. But watching Chelsea, I think they were good today. Obviously, the final third, they weren't brilliant. But at the end of the day, a team are going to sit back and go, we're mannequins, try to play it through way us. I don't think they're going to struggle.
No,
that's the truth.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying to you. And it was Obsidian Curse that made a point the other day. Do you know, we make these comparisons. Well, I do anyway. You know, to Wimbledon. You know, the crazy gang, and Stoke City, Tony Pulis, and he made a great point. He said the difference with those teams, and probably if you look at Kerbishley and Sam Allardyce with the way that they played for us, no funds. It's almost like you play like that because you don't have the means to buy superstars in to play a different way. So that's what I've done. I'm glad Epic spotted it. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, but Moyes is going to have spent, by the time this window's done, in his time here, he's going to have spent between 4 to 4.5 million. Well, I'm not talking about net spend because we've got the deck money back. Money that he's spent, 4 to 4.5 million. And by design, he's trying to create a Wimbledon. And that not only that, they're a team full of cloggers. They will be, by the time Maguire turns up and James Ward-Prowse, that will make us, Gary.
He's going. He's going at the end of the season.
But what I'm saying is, you're not listening. What I'm saying is, it will make our team officially the oldest team
Yeah,
in
I
the
know.
Premier
I
League.
know.
And it's
I don't even, I don't
400
even care
million
about
to do that.
Nick, I don't care. I think we're going to stay up this year. I think it's going to be really. This was my prediction a few weeks ago. He's just going to be another Sam Allardyce year, right? He's going to stay till summer. He's not going to get renewed because, as Sean just said, Stighton's going to pick the next manager. So things will hopefully be a bit better after that, as long as Sullivan keeps his fucking nose out, and as long as Stighton is given the tools.
Why have we got to go through this, so Gary? I don't understand.
Well,
I don't
because he never
understand it.
sacks a manager. He thinks it's a waste of money. He thinks it's a fucking waste of money. He will never buy a manager out, for instance.
No.
He thinks it's a waste of money.
How can it be a waste of money to get
the most important person in the club? Yeah, I know.
What's a waste of money is backing someone who's not going to be here in 12 months with £100 million worth of fucking players. That's a waste of money.
Yeah, I know. But if you work it out, from what Sean said just then, Maguire plus one other, right? That's what he said, didn't he? And he also expects Paqueta to go the other way. So if there's one other coming in, that ain't, this will get Allardyce style evaluated at Christmas. If he doesn't need any players, like we're not in trouble, we're safe because there's 3 crap teams down the bottom. He ain't getting a penny of that in January. So there's still going to be 100 and something million left. Don't you worry about that. This is about spending the minimum possible so that David Moyes gets what he wants, the tools he wants to keep us up. That is all.
I agree.
Right?
Well, Gary, one more thing, and we're going to let you go. And I'm going to give Gary from Romford a call. He's going to be devastated that he's been third in line tonight.
One massive thing is if David Moyes is making Maguire his number one signing, what do you guys think of Emerson and Soufal being our wing backs?
Go on, Andy.
Because I don't think that.
Emerson, yes, he's great. I think that's probably his best position. His relationship with Paqueta as well. I think is good.
Yeah.
The one player who I would he's another Bayern player who I think Starting could play. He's Frimpong, the right back as well, youngster. But obviously Bayern wanted Soufal.
Yeah.
Why can't we just go and offer 50 million for Tar and Frimpong?
Yeah.
Then you're sorted. You really are sorted. That would be the way if Moyes was out and Stighton had, for example, and Alonso, that's us sorted for our defence.
Yeah,
easy.
I'd go with that. I'd go with that.
I think Mandy G's just said down there, who's the backup for Emerson? Because if you're going to play wing backs, it can't be Cresswell.
Scholes, I think. I would risk him. I really would. I would risk him.
That's a good shout. I think he ain't been sent out on loan, though.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I think what Jones says here, this is what Sullivan's thinking.
Oh.
Right, there are 5 worse teams than us. There are.
Yeah, but
right?
don't you
this
think
is just going to be? This is going to be
but,
shit this year.
Yeah, but Gary, I know you're saying there's 5 worse teams than us, but I'm sure Leicester would have been thinking that last year, and there were 5 worse teams than Leicester.
Yeah,
there were.
I don't know.
They had Tillemans, Madison, and fucking Harvey Barnes in their team.
What you've also got to consider as well is you can say there's 5 worse teams than us, but what happens if we're 5 months into the season and Bowen gets injured? That's
a great point.
Then you're sitting there going,
and we're knackered.
Well, we ain't going to invest any money, are we? Because we don't spend money in January, or we'll get you a little 5 million replacement, which won't work, and then we'll be fucked. You cannot gamble with the Premier League; it's unforgiving.
No, I agree. I completely agree, and I do think he does. I don't think. We know that David Moyes can't cope with a big squad. He doesn't want a big squad. He doesn't. But I'll tell you what will be a test for us this year, and it really will be. We ain't playing dog and duck teams like we were in the Conference League last year when the Europa League runs around.
Teams.
We're playing fucking proper teams now.
Yeah.
So they're going to be coming thick and fast, competitive games. You ain't going to be able to play if you want to progress in that competition. You can't be playing your B team in the Europa. You physically can't.
No.
So it's going to be very interesting. But anyway, Alfie, thank you very much for the call, mate. I'm going to give Gowie a bell.
No worries. Take care, lads.
Cheers, mate.
See you, Alfie. Bye.
All right. Let's see if he's available. He ain't. He wants to call me. He's saying. Let's give him a call. Right. Oh no, he's busy. He's obviously busy. Right. So what we do is I'll open up the phone lines. There you go. Yeah. Oh no, he's phone.
Gary.
He wanted to phone me back. Hello, Gary.
Can you hear me, Nick?
I can hear you. I can hear you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah. Everything's all right.
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. I've been better. Did you hear the phone call from Sean?
Yes, I heard the phone call from Sean. I saw Andy looking and Gary looking a bit glum.
Well, it was mixed news, wasn't it? It was mixed news.
Yeah. I picked a couple of positives out of there, like Stuyton will be picking the next manager. A negative that Moyes is staying until the summer unless we're threatened with relegation. But also there's a minimal number of players coming in. It's just going to be Maguire and a forward player, right? That is all Moyes is getting to keep us up.
Yeah. Which I suppose with this, I mean, obviously Luton and Sheffield United, I think will go down. Although we can't say 100% at first game, but I think they will. So I think this thing about 5 worst teams, there probably are there is 5 worst teams than us. But same token, it's not a waste of the season, but it just seems like it's a shame we just can't get this sorted out, really. But obviously, we've got more games coming up. If we don't win in the first 6, I mean, that could push Moyes out. I mean,
no, I disagree with you.
Brighton.
Yeah, I disagree with you. I think it is a fucking waste of a season. They're taking the piss out of us by doing this, right? This is like just like the Allardyce season.
Dejected now.
Yeah, it's grim.
Yeah, I mean, what I would like to see, I mean, like the Vacetta thing, if we do sell him, I mean, we're getting sort of 85 million or whatever it is. I mean, they've got that release clause next year, haven't they? So if they catch, and De Bruyne is getting injured a lot now, so I just wonder, Lost Gundogan, whether he might come back. But what I'd like to do, the moment we get sell him, go and get Fofana, 50 million, get him in the door. You still got 35 million over. You know, you could put that towards another striker. But,
Moyes don't want him.
I couldn't believe yesterday Ings up front. I mean, how many times you've got to watch something for it to sink in? It doesn't work. Ings won't work in this system. Antonio's the only one who can play the system, or Obama. But he should be in really. But we need. I'll get rid of Ings, and I bring in. I've been saying for months now. I like Broja at Chelsea. I just think he would fit the bill.
Well, apparently that ain't happening according to Sean.
Yeah, but he was Broja against us last season in the cup game. He was brilliant down there. He scored a goal. We got a penalty at the London Stadium. He was a real handful. He runs the channels. He holds the ball up. And he's Premier League proven, and I think he'd be perfect. But I think you need 2 strikers in. Maybe, I know we've been linked with Solanke. I didn't see the game yesterday. What did you think of him?
Gary, I'll take over the comments. You're just putting random comments up.
Sorry, what am I doing? Sorry, who do we think it was? Solanke, did you say?
Solanke.
Gary?
Yeah. Did you rate him?
He bullied Aguerd. I mean, he made Aguerd look terrible. He's I hate doing comments, by the way. I'm glad you.
No, I'll do them. You're useless.
Yeah. So I think he would be an improvement on what we've got, and he can play up front alone. Look, I'm just disappointed. This is what we're doing, but as long as we can keep, if we can keep Paqueta, it gives me a little bit of hope because he's the one I was looking forward to watching this year and seeing him develop. I think without him, we just turn into this bland outfit. But the more I think about it, the signings we're making at the moment, I think how many we didn't go all out clearly to sign McTominay, right? Sullivan didn't go and money no object to sign McTominay, did he? It was like a token effort, but we kind of pushed it through for James Ward-Prowse because very likely James Ward-Prowse is the kind of player that another manager that comes in can use, right? And I think Maguire, big lump centre half, yes or no, he can probably be used as well, right? How many players? I mean, I don't know who else he's going to bring in. We shall see. But I think I disagree with Nick that we're being turned into, a full team of cloggers. I don't think that's going to be quite the outcome.
I'll tell you what, with Ward-Prowse.
Sorry, Gary. One minute. Eamon Green says if Claret and Booze was only fools and horses, Gary from Watford would be Uncle Albert, but instead of during the war, it would be one more thing.
I was going to say, with Ward-Prowse, I saw his figures. He got double figures last season for Southampton. He got 10 plus goals for midfield. It's not bad going, is it?
No.
So, but we do need to get another striker in. I mean, if we get Ward-Prowse, we've got Fornells in there, got Paqueta. You got Alvarez, Bucek. We're covered. We've got more than enough in midfield. I think we need a player on the left-hand side, some pace, and another striker. That's what we need now.
Would you know what? Looking at the midfield yesterday, without James Ward-Prowse, so we've got James Ward-Prowse to add to that. We look fucking really good.
Alvarez.
We look really. And Alvarez. We don't need no more midfielders. So it should just be. It should just be now.
I'd be more worried.
Players.
You see what I mean, though, Nick? When you look at the team as it's going to be next week, I know Moyes is going to set it up to be a shit, horrible outfit, but that's tactics, right? That's not necessarily the players. If we can add a decent striker into that team, then that team's going to comfortably stay up, even playing Moyes ball, right? The new manager that comes in will not want.
I'm not as comfortable with it as you, Gary. The
new manager will. No, I'm not comfortable with it. I fucking hate it.
No. What I mean is not as confident. I think that these tactics are outdated. I think you've got to set a team up the right way. Archaic.
Listen, I get that.
It is outdated. I don't care about the personnel. You could put anyone in our fucking team. We'd look shit. I'm sure.
I get that. But what I'm saying is, a new manager that comes in will probably be okay with most of those players, and they'll probably move some of them on anyway, right? And make some signings. Listen, this is what it is. I don't think there's anybody that's been signed so far that a new manager coming in, irrespective of the football they play, would say no, he's fucking useless. I'm more likely to say it about some of the ones we've already got, like Ben Rama. And that ain't a slight on Ben Rama. You know what I mean? He's not finished product.
Andy, let me ask Andy Miles a quick question. I'll ask you as well, Gary. So say for instance, Andy, you go over there a lot. If it got to the stage where, let's say, we're 7 games in, we're bottom of the league, right? Mm-hmm. We're 7 games in. We're coming up to Sheffield United, bottom of the league. We have a bit of a nightmare against them. We're still in the bottom 3. The football is shit. The atmosphere is terrible. But the board come out and say no, we're sticking with the manager. Lawrence Salmon says, would you boycott a few games if it was collective to get Moyes sacked? Would you do it?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
100%.
Would you just say that I'm not going? I'm not going to fucking go.
Yeah. And the betting odds, do you know I sent you that? Javi Alonso's gone back to second favourite. Gary Potter's 11-4, and Alonso's back to 5-1. Obviously, he went up to 16. So that's changed over. I last checked that probably 5 days ago. I think it's happening. I really do. I think 6 games and he'll be gone.
Honestly, I
Andy,
think.
go on. Sorry, go on.
Listen, I just think, Gary, based on that, if it does turn to shit and we play like we did yesterday, the crowd are going to react. The crowd are going to react to it and make it uncomfortable, right?
Terribly.
Yeah. And look, a couple of results after 5 or 6 games, we could be just sitting at the bottom of the table or second from bottom or something like that.
Yeah, we've got 1 point so far. We've got Chelsea, we've got Liverpool, Brighton, Man City, right? And we've got Sheffield United and Luton. That's a 6-7 games. You look at it now. Chelsea, we seem to do quite well against Chelsea, but I don't know. If we lose Chelsea next week, nothing against Liverpool, nothing against Brighton, nothing against Man City, that means it's the Luton and Sheffield United games. I mean, and not being funny, we're bottom of the league after them 7 games. I don't care what anyone says. I think Moyes will be gone because the pressure will be so intense from the fans.
I agree.
It will get really toxic over there.
Yeah.
And I think he will be gone. But you just can't say what's going to happen. I mean, we could go and get a draw against Chelsea next week, beat Sheffield United, pick up a point at Luton. So, look, I think the guy said earlier, maybe we just needed, we don't want West Ham to lose a game, but maybe if it was a really, really bad start point-wise, maybe that would force his hands.
The shit teams will struggle against us, that's for sure, right? They'll struggle to break us down. They won't have the tools to break us down.
Didn't, and they're shit.
Yeah, but we're not the complete Moyes. Think of next week's West Ham. Would Bournemouth have broken that down?
But last week's
with
West
Maguire,
Ham,
with Alvarez, with Paqueta out the
Maguire
way,
makes us a better team by putting Maguire in and taking a midfielder out.
Well, the thing is, Nick, I don't think we go 1 up if we play if next week's West Ham play. I don't think we go 1-0 up.
We ain't better.
I think we grind out a 0-0 draw.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if you look at the weekend's lineup. And you take a player out of that and put Maguire in, that ain't making us better. If you put James Ward-Prowse, if you put James Ward-Prowse in place of one of the 3 8-rated midfielders, that doesn't make us better.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't make us better in any way, but it'll make us effective against the shittier teams. That's what I'm saying. It will do.
Gal, I was going to say regarding the comments on the coming up on the screen with Broja, I know he's been injured. I'm not saying buy Broja now. What I'm saying to you is we need 2 strikers in the club. If Antonio goes, Ing's got to go. We've got Babamba. We need 2 other strikers. So if Solanke, for example, I don't know what it costs, but Broja, if he's fit, what I'm saying to you is the sort of system we're playing, Broja would play that system. And I mean, if anyone can't see that after watching Broja play against us several times. He's a good player. He's only 21. I think he wanted to come. He's very good. He's perfect for the system we play.
Yeah,
he holds the ball up. He runs the channels.
He is. I know, but Gary, you've been banging on about Broja for a long, long time.
I have.
But
it's so obvious.
But what I'm saying is, it's obvious, but it ain't happening.
Thing is, Gary, that's one of the players.
It ain't going to happen. There's so many players that we could sign that we want that would make us better. For whatever reason, he ain't even fucking. He's not interested. He's not going after him. We're not interested. I don't know why.
And he's a player that fits the Moyes system, right? So maybe he's the sort of player that we wouldn't sign because he's only be useful for 1 year, right?
Yeah.
Well, and also depends whether Pochettino rates him or not. Obviously, he's looking at the players. I mean. But we need to get somebody else. We need another striker in, maybe 2 really. We need to revamp the forward. We've been obsessed with midfield all summer.
Yeah.
Which, I know we lost Rice, but you've got Fornells here, Bacata, Alvarez, you've got Ward-Prowse, you've got Souček. We've got more than enough in midfield now. It's the forward area. That's what's got to be sorted out.
What do you think of this, Gary? What do you think of this? Andy Wolf saying Gary Moyes is not. This is what saying I mentioned earlier. He's playing these games. He's playing these games with Alvarez. Like he was with Vlasic, right? I don't reckon he's going to give Alvarez a game for several games. There's going to be excuse after excuse.
His first game will be the Europa League game, group stage.
Probably, yeah.
This is a player that plays. He's a mainstay in his national team, and he's played Champions League football.
Yeah,
every year.
You can't say he's unfit. He's just come out of fucking Ajax, right?
Yeah.
Unless they have unfit players, notoriously unfit in Ajax, aren't they?
I know.
One last thing I want to say: is there anyone in Europe, striker-wise, that you like the look of? Any of these 3? Is anyone you think, he looks good?
Well, Jonathan David. He's the one that I really like.
The obvious one. Yeah.
But not anyone else.
We've got the money. We've got the money to go all out and really pay for a top striker, haven't we?
Yeah, but Moyes ain't going to spend a lot of money on a fucking forward player, is he?
Sullivan's not going to spend a load of money on a striker. I'd go and sign seriously for Moyes this season. I'd go and sign Divock Origi for 9 million from AC Milan. He's an Antonio. Really? He's a better Antonio, right? He's a better version of Antonio.
But do you know what we should have done? We should have made a big statement. We should have bid 60, 70 million. It would have cost a lot. I would have went and bid 60, 70 million for Ollie Watkins from Villa.
Yeah.
We missed out on him before.
Yeah.
Made a big statement. 60, 70 million on him. He's the perfect striker for us. He's got pace and he can finish.
Bang on, mate. You should have done that. I said that weeks ago. When you look around for another striker who can play the Antonio role, Watkins is absolutely ideal.
Yeah, no, he is. He is.
I don't see Villa letting him go. Do you?
No, but to sort of build on the previous point, Luke Bailey said he boycotted games last season mentally. Going to matches was like having to do a second job.
So did I.
That he hated. Yeah. And that's the thing. This is what people forget. Like a lot of the people that support him and say you've got to get behind him, this, that, the other. It's going to be worse this year, right? They seem to forget what it was like over there, and not even over there. Just watching it on TV is soul sucking. So being over there and in there is fucking awful.
Nick, I was going to ask you a question.
Go on.
Do you not think though, with the West Ham fan base? I mean, do you not think a majority of the Moyes haters or Moyes want people out are on social media, and that maybe some of the fans that don't go on social media are not so what's the word, rebellious against him?
I don't know,
that's
mate.
What I've heard.
I don't know. I think that's an argument for people that are Moyes in.
Yeah,
it is really. Yeah. Let's face it. I mean, I don't think you'll find like Luke just said. You've got all of those people, 60,000 people that go and pay their season tickets to go over to the London Stadium. I think you'll struggle to find less than 10% of those fans that would choose to watch that for another year and not opt for something more exciting. Most people that go to games would opt to be entertained. They would. I'm sure.
Yeah.
There's only one explanation, right? And that is Nigel's explanation, where he will basically back the manager until they're sacked. That's the only explanation that's valid, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Because if you're a West Ham supporter, if you're a proper West Ham supporter who's been supporting us for a few years, several years, you'll be a lover of attacking football and going for it, even when the chips are down, even against on paper a superior team, right? That is our mindset. That is what we do. Moyes just ain't got that mindset. So I don't understand anyone.
But
really.
that's the one. I mean, that's what's making me think that he hasn't got long. Is because we've run no coaching staff in. Imagine bringing 3 coaching staff in and then getting rid of them.
Talking to one at the moment. He's got a couple to sort of might come in this week.
See, outside of the West Ham bubble, fans on the outside and the media, when I listen to like different people, you know, there was a Man City fan the other day. I think his name's LB. He's quite up on the channels.
Yeah.
And he was saying that I think it was Dan Lawless was on the show, and he was pretty much Moyes out. And he was saying, well, you know, it was almost like be careful what you wish for, because at the end of the day,
I hate that argument.
I
can't.
No,
stand
I
it.
know, and I know you're going to react to that. Just let me finish though. But what he's saying is, there's been other teams before us that have had this and have got rid of managers and have ended up getting relegated. So now I'm not saying I agree with that at all. I'm just saying, I'm just putting a point out there.
But how many years were we in the Premier League before David Moyes? That's what I'm trying to say to you. We've been in the Premier League now for what, 12, 13 years. He's only been here for the last 3 years. It ain't like we've been yo-yoing, and all of a sudden Moyes has come in and we're fucking stable. We almost got relegated last year.
Yeah. But what I'm just saying, from the outside, from an outside West Ham perspective, there is a number of people that are saying that. They look at what we've done the last 3 years, whether we like it or not. That's true, I suppose. But no, Nick. But what I'm saying to you, I'm not disagreeing with you. I would like to see a more attacking style of football. I'm frustrated with Moyes. I'm just saying, from the outside perspective, looking in, some people will say, "Be careful what you wish for."
People that don't watch the team. So it's like people like Dan, like for instance Danny Murphy, right? He's a mouthpiece for TalkSport. He'll come on and he'll go, West Ham fans, he's brilliant. They've got to back David Moyes. Then he'll come out and say, no, Scott McTominay's too good for fucking West Ham. Honestly,
it's all bullshit, right? It's all bullshit.
It's bullshit.
Careful what you wish for is like believing in fairies and pixie dust, right? That is just like emotional bullshit. If you call it, how many teams have called it at the right time, and I mean early enough before the January transfer window, gone out and spent and hired the right manager, and then given that manager a load of money in January? How many of them have got relegated?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see a change in manager. I would. I'm not Moyesian at all. I'm just saying, from the outside out, from the West Ham fan base, this is what people you do hear this a lot being said by particularly ex-players as well. Of all clubs. Somebody go back to Pellegrini. Pellegrini in, and then you got relegated, didn't we? So
we didn't nearly get relegated with Pellegrini, Gary. We had 19 points. Now what I'm saying is we had 19 points after 19 games. David Moyes went on and got 20 points out the next 19 games. There's nothing to say that Pellegrini wouldn't have done that. We was in 17th place when Moyes came in. We weren't in the relegation zone at the fucking bottom, and there was still half a season to go. So that is a fallacy that he saved us from the brink of relegation the last time he came in, because he didn't.
Did we finish 17th that year as well?
I can feel my blood pressure creeping up.
16th. Did we finish 17th?
No, I think we finished quite comfortably. I think we finished like 14th in the end, didn't we? I think it was weren't that bad, but yeah, no, it's still the thing. What worries me,
Nick, I was going to ask you.
Go on.
Go on. I was going to say, with that Sean Whetstone, when you was asking him questions, I'm just a little tiny bit of the show. With Fofana, are we interested in him? Because apparently I heard that, first of all, Moyes didn't rate Fofana, but you had that friendly game against Arsenal when he was man of the match, and apparently Moyes changed his stance on him. Have you heard anything about that?
Darren Hutchinson, I've seen plenty of comments from you. If you don't like Nick fucking moaning, piss off. All right. One more time, you're blocked. Fuck off.
Makes me laugh.
No, with the Fofana thing, are we linked with Fofana?
I don't think another central midfield's going to come in now. Now James Ward-Prowse. We've got two central. And like what we said, if
we need
Aaron Souček play like that, majority of even 80% of the time, they're going to get 8 out of 10s, aren't they? If they play like that. So I'm not too fussed about that position. Winger, striker, and a left back would be probably the perfect window.
Yeah. I'll tell you another thing as well with Aguirre going back. He's had a few ropey games, hasn't he? I mean, he looked brilliant in the World Cup, but he seems to be, like some players adapt to the Premier League and some struggle with the physical side of it. There's been a few games last season where Aguirre looked pretty shaky, didn't he? And other times he looked really good.
Yeah. Early on, when he first got into the team, he was a bit rubbish. He got better towards the end of the season, didn't he?
Yeah. But also, if we do get Maguire and him and Zuma are with Aguirre, he's a left-sided player. That's the good thing about it. You've got to have that balance there. And if you had Zuma and Maguire, I know we play a deep line, but there's not a lot of pace here. With Aguirre, one thing he has got, he's got loads of pace. So, which we lack a little bit through the team, really.
He has, mate. Right, Gary, we're gonna call it a day on this call,
21
mate.
minutes, Gary.
21 minutes. We're giving you a bit extra tonight, and we're going to see if anyone else wants to phone in before we close it down.
Cheers, Gary.
All right,
I'm gonna drink a pint of whiskey before bed tonight. I think. Trying to stay off the booze.
Take care, lads.
All right, cheers, mate.
See you, Gary.
Yeah, see you later.
Fucking hell, I was.
My partner's an Arsenal fan, and even he says we need to get rid of it
tonight. Oh, thank God, we got a good one. Come on, he's going to pick us up, Arnie. Not that you weren't a good one, Gary. You was a very good one. Sorry, mate. Arnie. Oh, hang on.
Oh.
Hello, Arnie.
Can you hear me?
Hey.
Hey.
Oh, thank you very
doing?
much. I needed to be perked up.
You cheer us up, Arnie.
Yeah, I'm up. Yeah. It's been a stressful last hour. I've got to be honest. It's not anyone's fault. It's not Gary's fault or Sean's fault. It's just people telling me what I don't want to hear. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, it's a bit like you're sleeping and you're having a nightmare and you can't wake up. It just continues.
Yes, it's exactly what it's like.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, yesterday at the match, like I was pleasantly surprised, with the starting lineup. I thought, okay, this is actually gonna be quite good, and I think we played okay. But then as soon as we scored, it was the same shit as usual.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just.
It was so destroying. So
some
destroying.
Of these people and some of these people who rate him is. Do you know what the Stockholm syndrome is?
Yes.
Yeah. Where you
it's like they suffer from
you
that.
care for your captives. Yeah.
Oh, mate, I know, but it's honestly, if you look at that, and I made a comment yesterday on another show that I was watching, and they was crowing about, again, it was the same thing with, David Moyes, is brilliant, it's like he's working with nothing. But if you look at our starting 11 and Bournemouth starting 11, I think you would struggle to put, if you put most other Premier League managers, even Championship managers, in charge of that team versus Bournemouth, we get 3 points. I'm sure of it. I'm sure we get 3 points. If you give anyone those fucking players that we've got against Bournemouth, we come out on top. We was on top of them anyway, playing the way we was playing. And we weren't playing scintillating football, but we were better. We went 1-0 up. And then Arnie, he just slammed the brakes on, mate.
Yeah, but you know what? I think our squad is just as good as Tottenham's. If you go down player by player, I think we're just as good. We just need a manager who knows how to play with the players. And it's also why a player like Ben Rama, these players who are creative, they're used to playing with the ball. Imagine when they go to practice, it must be so frustrating.
Yeah.
You have a manager who plays defensive football.
Yeah.
He doesn't play with the football. And then, of course, when you come to the match, you're not up to standard because you don't. Like that's a saying, in sports, what you don't do in practice, you're not gonna do in the matches or in the games.
Yeah.
So if they don't play combination football, this 1-2 football during practice, they can't do it in the match.
But they can't. And the thing is, I said that on a show that I did yesterday, right? I think when you're West Ham, and that's why I was so freaked out at the thought of us losing Lucas Paqueta, because when you're West Ham and you play the way that we play, you need geniuses to make something happen, to get you goals, because we're less than the sum of our parts. If you look at, say, for instance, Leverkusen, who we played, pre-season. That is a team that is coached and drilled. They're not full of superstars. They just play beautiful football. Brighton are the same. The majority of other teams in the Premier League, even Brentford, Brentford, they play almost an exciting style of what Moyes wants to do. They play proper counter-attacking football, with pace on the attack. Rico Lewis running down the left, and they've got all that pace up front.
Rico Henry.
Rico Henry, yeah. And I just think, I just, mate, honestly, I just can't understand it. We're not, it's soul destroying watching this now. It really is. Yeah. And the thought that we're going to have to potentially put up with this for another season is it's literally killing me, to be honest. I want to believe that he can go. And somebody put it in the chat further back. They said the worst thing that happened to West Ham last season was beating Everton in that game where it was Lampard on Moyes.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing that happened to us was winning that game. Because he would have gone after that.
This also just shows me that even though you own a football club, it doesn't mean you actually know how to run a football club. And
correct.
I'm not a big Sullivan fan, but I was impressed when he brought in Stein because I thought, okay, at least now we're going in the right direction. He only needs just to get rid of Moyes. And then because really, if you look at Man City and us, the only difference between the clubs is basically they have a top manager and then they have owners who are willing to invest. That's it.
Yeah.
But Arnie, this is a question, right? I know that Sullivan hired Moyes directly and gave him a 3-year, 4-year contract, whatever it was, right? And now he's refusing to sack him until that contract's run out. Now the next manager, Steiten, is going to hire. Now, if we end up in this same situation, is Sullivan going to fire that manager, or is he going to allow Steiten to fire that manager at the right time when it should happen? Is this a change? Or is this him just using Steiten to go and find him a good manager that he's going to deal with?
I think Sullivan is thinking, okay, I'm not going to own the club for that much longer.
That's what I.
So I need to bring the club into the next millennium, and then if Steiten takes over and we bring in some youthful players, we start to, let's say. We finish 10 or 12 or whatever, but we're more secure. Then if new owners come in, I think we're gonna see the club progress to another level. I don't think Sullivan is gonna stick around for 2 or 3 years.
No,
I think it's gonna be this season or the next season.
Yeah.
No, I mean that is the best of both of us. And look, we all want Sullivan to move on. I mean that is the ultimate. We do want that, and in doing so, that would mean that Moyes goes, because I doubt that any owner that came in next would retain Moyes. I don't think they would. But for the fixable problem that we have at the moment is David Moyes, and I'm sorry, he's a problem. He's such a problem. I just really want to enjoy watching football again.
I just hope that we ain't had a flipping like an Onana situation where we've had literally a top quality. I don't think Onana's going to be his top quality yet, but one for the future. I just hope that we've not had that situation where they're literally like Ward-Prowse, a quality player who's gone on to prove well, and Moyes has literally just pulled the plug. Right, we've only known about the ones from like Man City. I reckon there's some more which haven't come out where literally we could have signed them. They've gone on to play well for other clubs or anything like this. Like Alvarez, the one who went to City. I reckon there's more. I reckon there is more which just ain't come out.
Yeah. Well, like I say, we've heard of a couple.
And there's also
go on, mate.
Caicedo as well. It's the same with Caicedo. I read a rumor that he didn't want him because he wanted Alex Kral, who didn't play. Imagine if we had Declan Rice and Caicedo as a central midfield.
Mate, in his first stint with us, he turned down Maddison. I know it's a different position, but he went out and got Jordan Hugill. He didn't rate Maddison. We could if that was X confirmed that, because X was touting Maddison. He said Maddison wants West Ham. He wants West Ham, and we was linked to him. I think it was Sullivan that was driving the deal, but Moyes went, no, didn't rate him. Didn't rate Maddison.
Yeah, I mean he's a destroyer of talent. He can't recognize talent. I mean also when I saw your player rating, and I agree with most of it. But if you notice, most of the players who are like performing in a system are players who fight and run.
Yeah,
like they are basically the players who are performing closer to top level. But as soon as it's like a creative player, they just don't suit the system. I mean, it's like watching football from the like Wimbledon in the 90s or 2000s or whatever. It's like shit.
Yeah, but the thing is, like Obsidian Curse said, that comment that he made, these teams played that way because they had no money. Yeah. So you just have to go out and get cheap, industrious players and then play in a way that, you know, you can compete against the best teams. We've got money. We can go out, we can buy good players. I mean, fuck me, we've spent a lot of money. This project that Moyes has had is peaking. By the time this window's over, it's going to be almost 450 million. By the time this summer's through. 450 million, and we're going to be playing fucking crazy gang football.
Yeah, and imagine how players he sold with a loss. You take Haller, he went to a Champions League club. Vlasic, he would rather play for Torino than us. That says everything.
I know.
It's and now we have Scamacca. We lost a little bit of money. He's going to Atalanta, who's a Champions League club. Declan Rice, he went to a Champions League club. So we basically had 4 or 5 Champions League level players in our squad. But Moyes, he's so fucking shit. And I can't stand that he doesn't go for it. He doesn't go for anything. Like in sport, you should be, of course, you should be entertained, but also be aggressive and go for winning the game. Don't just, I mean, it's pathetic.
And I can feel your
frustration. And then also Salven.
I can feel your frustration as well. I can feel your frustration as well, because obviously we've spoken throughout the summer, and you've obviously never been for Moyes, but you kind of use a lot more relaxed in that period. But I can hear in your voice that you're pissed off after that game yesterday, because it's more of the same, isn't it?
Yeah, and then also when you see the match, I'm like, okay, what is he doing? Is he like, can't he see what's going on the pitch? We're on the front foot. We're dominating the game. We're creating chances. We go 1-0 up. Now we had to. It's almost like he's a father playing with his son.
I know.
Okay, now I'm dominating in the game, but now I'm gonna let you come on to me. That's not how it works in football. And then I don't understand why the club is spending money on his players. I mean, if you're getting a divorce from your wife, you don't go buy a new house. It doesn't make any sense.
True.
Just fucking fire him, get it out, or get it over with.
This is the thing. This is what I don't understand. It's like we're going back to, and it's not Gary agrees. He agrees with us, but it's like what Gary said there. This is what really pisses me off when he said Moyes won't do it because he sees it as a waste of money. But how can this not be a waste of money? How can backing a manager who's got 12 months left, who you're going to get rid of in 12 months with 100 million?
Choice.
But what I mean is, how can that not be a waste of money? That is the biggest of all fucking wastes of money.
Honestly, it won't cost more than 5 million now, will it? It won't cost more than 5 million.
2.5 million.
To refresh your memory, right? The director of football, or whatever you want to call him, the technical director, Tim Steiden, joined, and Sullivan hired him, and then he said to David Moyes, "Meet your new boss, Tim Steiden. You're going to be reporting to him." Moyes said, "No, I fucking won't, because look at my contract. Look at my contract." Right now, at that point, if I was the chairman who's just been undermined by somebody that could be 2 levels below me, I would have fired him straight away. Anyone in football would have fired him straight away for not doing what the chairman asked. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous, and he's lame, and he's a tight old git who just doesn't. Above all else, the one thing that means more to David Sullivan than anything else is money. Beautiful money, and if he can get away with saving a couple of $100,000 in holding on to Moyes before for right to the end of the season, he will do it. He's a scumbag, honestly.
I'd sacrifice a finger if you was going to sack Moyes tomorrow. You could take one, Sullivan. Fucking live on air, I'd let you chop a finger off. Just fucking get rid of him.
Yeah,
please.
They just take us for granted. They know we're going to come back.
A little finger, though. They're useless, aren't they? They don't really do much. Little ones.
But I actually thought, I think it was one of the other shows where, like how loyal should you be as a fan? Because surely as a fan, you should also be expecting something from the club to like give you back or like run the club in a proper way. It can't just be, okay, we need to go at every match I mean, I had season tickets for 6 years, but before last season, I didn't, I didn't extend it because I thought I can't support this kind of shitty fucking football.
No.
Yeah, but Arnie,
I mean,
they think they've completed that part of the delivery. They've actually delivered a cup, so therefore everything else is just, you know,
they've reached
they've done it.
We ain't going to moan now. We can't moan now. They've given us a cup.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that cup feels like it was 5 years ago.
Exactly.
It does. It was 2 months ago. It feels like it's 10 years ago.
Has this been the most traumatic of transfer windows? I think it has been. I think by far. I mean, like I've said I've said it on countless shows now. If you went back to, we felt quite similar in the last summer transfer window because a lot of the business was done towards the end of the window. But by the time that window was finished, we had England's number 6, we had Brazil's number 10, you know, we had Italy's number 9. We was thinking, fucking hell, we're in Europe. This is brilliant. We're looking really good. And now they're all gone. And you're just like, oh, and we're stuck with this fucking corpse on the sideline. I can't stand him. Honestly,
so you know what
he is in footballing terms. Yeah, but Arnie, sorry, in footballing terms, he is a corpse. He stood there in that second half when we went 1-0 down with his hands behind his back, watching Bournemouth grow further and further and further into the game. He did fuck all. He just waited until they scored. He did nothing. The only time he got his hands out of his pockets was to have a go at Fornals and Paqueta when they progressed too far up the pitch. Pissed me off.
Yeah.
I've not forgiven him since Brighton.
Arnie, you're from Austria, not from Denmark, aren't you? Sorry, mate.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah. No, but
you are from Denmark.
But you know what? We are as a club.
Sticking me around. Hang on.
Yeah, from Copenhagen, Denmark.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Like when I think back 2 years ago, I think we were third around Christmas, or maybe it was. I think it was 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago. We are the ultimate club that don't use momentum. We just won a cup. We have the perfect time to invest in the club, take us forward. Oh, we don't. We still take the rise. We don't bring any players. We still are starting Italian striker. That the January transfer window, we didn't bring in any players. Then we finished 5th or 6th or whatever. We could have finished 4th.
Yeah,
they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
We need to bring in new owners who actually have a proper idea about how you run a sports team. Not this.
I think it could be too late. I think there could be 10 or 11. I think there's like 7 or 8. You can include Brighton and Newcastle and Villa in that. If you give it another 2 years, we could be like 12th or 13th. In the progression side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're lagging behind already, and it didn't have to be like this, you know. And the trouble is, it is a risky game. Going back to what Sean said, and you know that's through conversations that they've had. They think there's at least 4 to 5 teams worse than us. That's their fucking that is, you know. Oh my god. And going back to that, Leicester, going back to Leicester last year, just like you can't guarantee who's going to get in the top 4, and every now and then a smaller team will creep into the top 4. If you're loitering down the bottom, banking on 5 teams being worse than you, a big team like Leicester can drop out.
Yeah.
It can work both ways.
Yeah, but you know what
it can work both ways.
Yeah, exactly. But also, because I agree that there are probably 6, 7 teams, if you look at players that are worse than us. But the problem is, if our players are playing, let's say, at 40% of their capability, then they're not worse than us.
No.
Then we can lose to Sheffield United, Nottingham Forest, Luton easily because Paqueta for Fornals, they are not going to play to their capability because they know in their head, okay, we're playing for a shit manager. So it's not Paqueta from Brazil we're getting or Ben Rama for what was it? Algeria or Bowen for England. They're playing for David Moyes. It's not the fully capable players we're playing with.
Yeah,
it can easily go down. I don't think it will happen, but we can't just think, they're shittier teams.
I don't think we will. I think it's a fair argument to say there are, straight off the bat, there are worse teams than West Ham. But like you've just said, you're going to have teams like, perhaps not Luton look really shit, but teams like Sheffield United, teams like that, they're coming in this season. They're going to be playing every game is going to be like a cup final. So all of their players will be playing upper level. They will all be playing upper level. But like you've just said accurately, it doesn't matter if you've got Paqueta and you've got all these players. If they're not fully committed, then it's. Do you know what I mean? That's how I think that's what happened to Leicester last year because they had a lot of players that were approaching the end of their contracts and stuff like that, and they were looking at their next move, and that is why they weren't fully committed to that project because. Brendan Rodgers went. I thought that was a bit of a mistake. I think they should have stuck with him.
Kasper Schmeichel, their captain. That was their biggest loss when he left. I think that's when it sort of fell apart. They've got Danny Ward or whatever his name was. He was shit, wasn't he? Their goalkeeper.
He was. He was.
Yeah, then they also didn't invest. They sold for Fana, but they didn't invest any money. So it doesn't take that much. I mean, we've gone down before where I think we finished 5th. When we had Rio Ferdinand, Joe Cole, Carrick, and then I think the season after, the following season, we went down. So we got down with way better squads than we have now. It's not out of the question. But I don't think it will happen because I don't think Staden will allow it. He is for sure going to go to Sullivan and say, listen, this is not working. We have a manager who's not getting the best out of our squad. If you want this club to perform, we have to let him go. I think Staden, he has everything planned out. Managers, players, all this stuff. We just need a proper coach or a proper manager.
I think I'm going to feel more relaxed if this window closes and Tim Stuyton is still here. If he's still here and he doesn't walk away, then that means that he's here for a reason.
Tells us something, doesn't it?
It means he's here for a reason. Because if our worst fears,
and what would be good as well, I think, is if Rob Newman goes. If Newman goes as well. I heard that Tim saved his job.
Did he? Yeah. Because Tim Stuyton's all about networks and connections and stuff like that. And Rob Newman's apparently got good connections out in Brazil and things like that. And apparently he thinks he's useful. He thinks he can be a useful character.
I just thought that relationship with Moyes, like to try and break it more than anything else. But no, I understand what you're saying as well. Definitely.
But I think everyone wants to look after himself. So if Rob Newman wants to be at the club.
David Moyes said about starting. He said, "Oh, me and him, we get on." He said it pre-match. We get on really well. We haven't spent that much time with each other, but he's got to get used to buying players for the Premier League now.
No, he got asked question. He got asked a question. The question was about the team that he built at Leverkusen, the team that dismantled us, and gave us a footballing lesson, and he almost dismissed it and went, well, he's got to learn. He's got to learn about the Premier League. It's a bit different."
He's so fucking arrogant.
I can't stand him. I can't stand him.
Do you reckon we shot ourselves in the foot? Sorry, Arnie. Do you reckon we shot ourselves in the foot? Do you reckon we hurt ourselves by demanding 105 million for Rice? I think that's where that question about Caicedo was going, right? Because he's gone for 115 million. If we just pushed the market up by demanding that money,
you know what?
Probably, yeah. Well, no, we have. I think we've controlled the market in this window.
Yeah.
But I think we pushed the market up for Premier League clubs, but or for Premier League players. But I don't really think we should go in for Premier League players. You can get
I don't
much better players for 60-70% of the money if you go to France or Germany or players like that. There's a ton of players who have the same quality who are willing to come. Because like they say, play for this for Fana for Monaco, we can easily get him if we offer him, let's say, 40 or 50,000 pounds a week, or 35 or whatever. That's probably triple or double his wages.
And
he would easily come.
And this is what people sort of forget as well. You look at the but you look at the transfer fee. That isn't where the bulk of the money is. The bulk of the money is over the course of the contracts when they get paid ridiculous amounts of money. So if you go for a Premier League player, it's never going to be less than 100 grand a week, regardless who you're fucking buying. But if, like you just said there, if you can go out and pay 30 to 40 million for Fana, but get him on a wage deal, which is 20 million, 30 million less than someone like McTominay, who'd probably command, I don't know, it'd be treble that. So he'd be like 150 grand a week, McTominay, at least. And I'm sorry, like you just said, I'm not saying McTominay's a bad player. He's not. But for Fana, that you would be getting a better player for less money. Fofana's better than McTominay.
Yeah, I agree.
Of course.
For sure. And do you remember, I think it was about maybe 10, 15 years ago, we had this 2 or 3 or 4 year period where we kept buying players who were washed up from other clubs. I remember we bought this, I can't remember his name, but he used to play for Newcastle, like a good young talent, but he was always injured. And then we picked him up, and of course he was injured. A bit like Jack, yeah, exactly. And a bit like Wilshere. These players, like I know McTominay is not injured, but those players that had their chance to prove what they can do in the Premiership, they're not going to do anything for us. I think Ward-Prowse, I think he's an okay player for 30 million, but like why bring him in? Bring some youth, some younger player in from another league who wants to prove himself. We're just going about it the wrong way.
Well, he's brought Ward-Prowse in to realise his vision. Scott mentioned back there. He said, unfortunately, I think that James Ward-Prowse may realise David Moyes' vision and make Moyes Ball successful, because we're going to be a set piece team, and James Ward-Prowse will give us that. But you don't. I mean, it's like I said. I know. I mean, you may like Soufal, but as a wing back, I don't think he's a wing back. I don't think he's an attacking player. I do. I do.
I think he's a normal right back.
Yeah, he's a right back, but I do kind of think that he'll be in that team on that right hand side. And like I said, if we go to a back three, we know it won't be a back three. It will be a back five.
A five.
It'll be a five. At the back. You know, that's it. So, but what's it? Luke Bailey says, "Have you got a link to that?" Moyes saying that about Tim, please, guys. It's I'll look for it and send it to you, mate. I'll WhatsApp it to you.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever thought about because that's another thing I thought about. There's something that's strange to me about how it's running now. I think Sullivan actually spoke with Moyes after the season, and I think he wanted to not buy him out, but like make it an agreement so he could finish, because there's something weird about our assistant coaches are quitting, and we haven't brought anybody in. I mean, there's something wrong about like, I don't know if they're not like supporting each other, or if Sullivan or Moyes had like a fallout, but there's something weird.
What happened? We've been told that this happened, Arnie. What happened was Sullivan was under the impression that Moyes was going to go after the cup win, irrespective of what he said. There was a prior agreement before that. It was understood that David Moyes was going to go. He was going to walk. That's why we appointed the director of football. And that's another thing. You know, he knew that Moyes would never work under a director of football. He tried to appoint one a couple of years ago, but it never happened, because that's why we ended up getting Rob Newman, because Moyes won't work for anyone. He has to be God in a football club. So we got Tim Steiten in off the back of the idea that Moyes was going to walk. He hasn't walked, and I do think that there's a little bit of an internal battle going on there. And I think it's become personal, even though it's only 2.5 million, and that wouldn't be much for West Ham in football terms. I almost feel like it's petty now. I almost feel like Sullivan wants him to walk. I do, but then again, what doesn't feed into that is he wouldn't feed him his players. He wouldn't give him his players. But at the same time, what's the point?
Yeah, because it also seems like he's trying to ruin his rumor or like his reputation as well.
Yeah. Well, look, I don't think he'll ever get another. And this is the other thing, right? People that support David Moyes, you know, you tell me one other top 10, top 15 team in the Premier League that David Moyes would go to. He would not be employed again now.
I don't think he'd get a job in the Premier League apart from the teams that are going down. Teams that are going down and desperate, Nick. He'd get the second half of the season to rescue him.
And that's what I mean. So why should we
be happy? Maybe for Scotland.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that might be his next move. But
it's
anyway,
his level, wasn't it? Cyprus,
anyway, Arnie, it's been a lovely call, mate. I'm gonna say goodbye now, because it's been almost half an hour we've been keeping. Your ear must be getting warm.
Yeah, it's fine.
It must be getting warm. So that's almost half an hour. So Arnie, thank you very much, mate. You have lifted my spirits, as you always do. Give us a little Arnie quote before you go. Go on. Everyone's asking in the chat.
You know what? I would love. I think we should tell this to David Moyes. If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Yeah.
Just to let him know we can get the fuck out of our club. Yeah.
Very good. Top man. Arnie, thank you very much, mate.
Yeah, you're welcome. Have a nice evening and hopefully a good season. And I'll try to come over and join you for a game. this year.
Take
care.
If you do, mate, we'll be meeting you for a beer. All right.
See you, Arnie.
Thank you. Sounds good. Take
Cheers,
care,
mate.
Thanks, Arnie. Bye.
Bye.
Right. Oh, great call. He's a great guy, isn't he?
He is. He really is. He knows.
And so are you, Gary, as well. I'm sorry if I was rude at the end of your call. It's just I was still pissed off from talking to Sean.
yeah. That did kind of. It was like the prophet of doom there, Sean, wasn't he? He gave all the wrong fucking answers. All the wrong answers.
I know.
Just like, I don't know why I asked him that question because I knew the fucking answer. But hearing him give the answer just pushed me over the edge a little bit.
Oh, do you know what?
You know?
Which Darren Hutchinson saying which bellend barred me? That was me, and this bellend is barring you again. All right, permanently.
Bye, mate.
Fuck off. Bye.
You're banned. Get out of my pub.
Chat shit. Get blocked. Fuck off.
Right.
So
you do realise that's his third account now. He's gonna cry.
Yeah.
I can block them all. It's one click.
Yeah.
One click. It's what people don't realise. It's one click. It's easy for me to block people. So takes them longer to set up a Google account than it does for me to block them.
Yeah.
We don't get many of them, to be honest. We generally got a very nice community here. It's only the odd numpty that
been
pops
going
in.
on for bloody ages, Nick. 2 hours 20.
I know. Listen, what we'll do on the next Talk Hammers show, I promise. I know there's been a few people that have phoned in. We will stick to the 10-minute limit, and we will get in as many calls as possible on the next one. I promise. But this one, I'm burnt out now.
I'll police it next time. I will police it next time because it only happens when I police it.
I know.
Is it going to be next Sunday? Or are you going to change it to Monday? Because obviously we're at home on Sunday.
Oh, what time's the kickoff?
4:30.
Oh, fucking hell.
No, I'll probably still do Sunday. Yeah,
well, you'll do like a match reaction and the donkeys, won't you? And then I'll be travelling home. Oh no,
you won't be at 9.
30.
You won't be at 9.
No, I'll be at home by then. Yeah, I'll be at home.
It's not that bad actually. I just realised, my bad.
It won't be that bad. No, so that'd be good because we can do like a match review. We'll jump on a bit earlier. If you're home by 8, we'll jump on at 8. We'll do a bit of a marathon one. We'll do a match review, do the player rating straight away, raw.
Trying to kill me.
So that could be interesting. And then we'll do the phone calls.
Yeah.
I know you're right, actually. The Talk Hammers show we could do on a Monday night. We could do phone calls on a Monday night.
Yeah. Let's see how it goes, Let's see how it goes. We'll plan it in the week.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
it. So thank you very much all for your tons of comments.
Thank you,
Andy, for joining us.
You're welcome, mate.
And I think we're going to have lots and lots of little bits of news this week. And when it arrives, we will bring it to you probably 5th.
Yeah. I'm just going to pick my spirits up before we go.
Yeah.
I'm going to play this little advert.
Absolutely amazing. This is the best night of my life ever. I just can't believe I'm here. I think I'm dreaming. I just can't believe West Ham have won something. We won more titles than Spurs, and I just can't believe that it's nobody won. West Ham are the best club in the world. I'm saying it. West Ham are the best club in the world. Come on, you are.
Always gives me goosebumps.
That kid was quoted this morning to say, "I wish that Moyes would fuck off."
Yeah, do you know what I mean? That's what I mean. We've got so much passion in this fan base.
Yeah,
and you know something? We've got too much for David Moyes. It's as simple as that.
Yes.
Too much passion for David Moyes. He ain't going to fucking beat us down. He really ain't. He can tell us, he's won us our first trophy in 43 years on a loop for fucking the next 12 months. It ain't going to make no difference. Right. Anyway,
let's end the show.
At the start of every video, you need to do a countdown. At the minute, it's 280 days.
Yeah, we're going to do that. Sort that out. I'm
going to put that up in the top right-hand corner. The Moyes corner.
It'll cheer us up, right? It'll cheer us up. It's something to aim for, isn't it?
280 days is long, though, isn't it? That is long.
Is it really 280 days? That is a long time.
It's fucking long, isn't it? Oh,
yeah.
No, man. Right. It'll be less every time we look at it.
I know. Thank you, everyone. Anyway, don't forget to drop a like on the video before you go as well. And if you're new around here, please subscribe. Apart from that dickhead that I just blocked. All right, then. See you later on.
See you later. Cheers. Good night, all.
Bye.
Come on,